Hello and welcome to episode 116 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Oi, oi.
Alright, I guess that's legally a greeting. And I am also joined by the bodacious, an incredibly hand-mutilated drummer Matt. Say hello.
Hello.
How are your hands today, gentlemen?
My hands, fine. I don't tend to think about them very much.
I think about hands a lot.
Now you're thinking about your hands too much, though, and it's a bit weird, right?
He never thinks about his hands, and I think about hands, just hands in general, constantly, so I think we even each other out.
Okay, you think about hands an appropriate amount as, like, a couple.
A unit, yeah.
As a unit,
Yeah. Matt, how are your hands doing? Because this is what we're doing, apparently.
This is apparently what we're doing. They're slightly sliced, but it's mostly fine.
Slightly sliced, just how you shouldn't really have your hands.
Yeah. All is fine, apart from that.
Good.
Good.
How you doing, Snipe?
How am I doing, or how my hands
No,
doing?
how are you doing? I don't care about your hands.
Whoa. Yeah, you know what? Say sorry, I'm taking this fucking shit to Twitter. I am doing a bit better.
Good.
Thank you very much for asking, friend. I guess we should do the podcast, and also, we did forget that it was Christmas last podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We completely forgot about it, and honestly, I've never been happier.
It was weird. We just completely didn't acknowledge that either, Christmas or the New Year was rolling around.
Holiday season at all was happening. I love it how everyone came in and was like, I love editing Web. And it was just like, what?
Editing Web is very satisfying.
He's a lot closer to the mic.
There's something you say, there's something about the way you say satisfying that is deeply concerning to me. And deeply, deeply troubling, so I'm just gonna, ignore it.
Shall we move on to doing the podcast?
Yep. Wibbo.
Hello.
Hello. Hubbo. What you been up to?
I've been up to one or two things.
Tell us about them.
I mean, that was what I was going to do.
Now.
So, first off, watched the last episode of Season 3 of Discovery.
We're not going to be spoiling it, don't worry.
No, I'm not going to spoil anything.
I finished that episode about an hour ago, so...
Yes, cool.
I haven't watched it. I was playing The Sims.
I mean, have you watched an episode of Discovery?
Cumulatively?
I mean, you've probably seen about...
I've seen Grudge, and she is a queen.
Yeah,
Grudge is a queen.
Is a queen.
She is large, and she is mine. Which is coincidentally what Wib said when we got married.
Oh dear. Yes, so, last episode of Star Trek Discovery, although I guess, strictly speaking, there's been a couple of episodes since we last spoke. Overall, did you enjoy Season 3?
I very much did. If you just ignore the 2 mirror episodes, which I just don't care. I think I said last time, but ignoring that, I thought it was a very good series.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I especially liked how the kind of general shtick of the entire season has been hope in kind of a hopeless situation, taking away from the status quo of Star Trek and going into this new thing and then doing Star Trek in that place, the sort of found family sort of thing going on as well. And it's just, I really enjoyed it. It's not perfect.
No.
So what I like about Discovery, and I kind of realised, was that effectively what it's been doing is it has spent several seasons discovering how to make Star Trek in the modern day. So it's tried doing the more grimdark approach in season 1. and that just didn't work. And then it was like, okay, if we try and go more nostalgia heavy in season 2, and it's like, I mean, that was better, but like, you should do your own thing. And then season 3 did its own thing, had a bit of nostalgia, a bit more kind of drama than you'd previously get, and it kind of met a kind of nice kind of balance, I felt.
Yeah,
and
I liked. I mean, how much are we not spoiling? Are we not saying anything about season 3, or can we?
Well,
mention...
season 3, you can mention some things. I just wasn't going to mention anything that's like substantive about the plot of the last couple of episodes.
Okay, this isn't plot related, but the end credits from the last episode. Speaking of nostalgia.
Yes, they've done this before where they use old Star Trek music. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah,
which was nice. They had a nice quote from Gene Roddenberry as well, which feels like they put there. It's to paraphrase what it said, because it doesn't give spoilers or anything. It's just that's like one of the greatest adventures in life. It's all about connecting with people, and if you truly connect with just one or two people throughout your life, then that is beautiful. Basically, is what it breaks down to.
Yeah.
And it feels like a bit of a reaction to it being made in a fairly hopeless year.
Yeah.
Well, it says a very polite way of putting it.
The first episode and the last episode of the series are called like part 1 and part 2, which I quite like. And they're not less. I mean, they're linked in the sense that the overall series arc links them, but they're not like obviously follow-on episodes because there's 11 episodes in between them.
Yeah,
but they're both called. I can't remember. All I want to say is A New Hope, but it's not A New Hope because obviously I can't call it A New Hope because someone will shout at me.
Star Trek, we love Star Trek.
But it's something like A New Hope Part 1, and then the last episode's A New Hope Part 2, or something.
Yeah, I will say that is something that Discovery's generally been pretty good at. Its title game has been strong.
Yeah.
My one big complaint from the final episode, which is something that was present and has been kind of in Discovery for the whole time, but I think this is the only time it's come up in season 3, which is whenever they show how turbo lifts work, they somehow forget the size of Discovery.
Yeah,
every time.
I just assume it's like a pocket dimension in there, and it's like TARDIS style, bigger on the inside. So once you head into that void, I'm sure there's a name for whatever that void is. Barry 2 or Barry Space or something, I don't know. But like whenever you enter that,
Jeffrey Space we'll call it.
Yeah, sure. Like that does seem like vastly bigger than the entirety of Discovery.
It is 100% because we actually have a pretty good idea of how big it is relative to people because it's got a big open door at the back and we know how big that room is.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. I did notice that. I was like, fine, okay, but also like it didn't need to be like that. So
it reminds me of the 2009 Star Trek movie where they go into like the engineering section and it's a literal brewery. Like that's where they filmed it, and it's like like this thing is like fucking like it's like it's a room like across, but no, this is an entire factory down here now. It's ridiculous. But yeah, overall, I thought it was really good, and yeah, I mentioned this earlier when I was speaking about it. That I think there's something that has happened, especially with this, and like the lower decks as well, and to an extent Picard, is that like since Voyager ended, Star Trek has had this problem of it just reveling in either nostalgia or prequels.
Yeah.
And it's been afraid to do its own thing. And sort of, the way I worded it was, for a long time, Star Trek has existed in its own universe, but it hasn't expanded it.
Yeah.
And they're starting to do that again, and that's really cool.
Yeah, and they do some interesting things with it.
Yeah. It's very cool. I enjoyed it a lot. Have you got anything else you'd like to say about Discovery?
No, we just really enjoyed it, and check it out
before
if you
I
haven't.
remove it from Netflix. Sorry, that was very final.
Oh no! And one thing I was kind of expecting with where it ended, that it was going to be like, because I didn't know anything if they'd commissioned a 4th season. They have.
I assume they have, yeah.
But the way it ended, that could have very easily been the end of the series.
Yeah, I was kind of almost thinking like, oh, are they like stopping it now?
Like it would have. They've obviously they have room to do a lot of stuff there. My only real criticism, and it's not really a criticism per se, it's more of like a personal like thing, which is I kind of feel like the explanation of the burn is a bit like what?
Yeah, it wasn't as satisfying as it could be.
Yeah, it felt like that was something that they also could have had as the mystery to have, like, to hang the whole series off. Yeah. Like, they didn't have to wrap that up at the end of the season because getting the Federation sort of, like,
You're on a mission from God.
Like trying to get the Federation back on its feet was enough.
Yeah, that's a big enough series like achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I make a minor nitpick, actually? I said I didn't have anything. I'm not a fan of the new uniforms. I don't know if that's a spoiler. Right at the end, they get new uniforms.
Someone is going to be really mad about that. Because, like, you say, like, it's like, oh, yeah, I like the part where the Enterprise was in it. And then people will go, oh! Oh, like, I don't know. Like,
I mean, technically, that was a spoiler at the end of season 1.
No, I mean just Star Trek in general. Like, oh god.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, you mean in the Next Generation that fucking Picard was in an episode? Fuck you. Spoilers. It's like,
I don't mind.
It's older than I am, so
yeah. I might get used to them because we've only seen them for not long. So, but I'm just not a massive fan.
I don't mind the new uniforms, and they have color on them again. And I like them when they've got more color, when they've got the coloured like colour coding on them.
Yeah, okay.
Because even though strictly speaking the Discovery ones did, because they had like gold, bronze and silver on them.
Yeah, but that's like metallics, it's not colour.
Yeah, I prefer. There's something that just it's quintessentially Star Trek to have like the bright coloured pajama uniforms, and so these aren't that. But...
I have aggressively looked into it, and it is so expensive to get actual like Star Trek pajamas.
Getting Starfleet uniforms is so expensive.
I know, and I was so upset because I really wanted to get you like Starfleet pajamas, even though you never wear them.
Starfleet pajamas.
Oh no, that's the thing. He wouldn't wear them anyway.
Are we talking about actual pajamas here? Or...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the fact that most of the uniforms look like pajamas, and you were just calling them that derisively.
No. You can get like a bunch of them like on Etsy and eBay, but eBay's probably going to be shittier than Etsy.
One day, I know I'm going to write a joke into a script that's going into that. I'm going to write it in specifically so I can put down.
I already bought you like an old school like red shirt.
Yeah, but that's a t-shirt. Like, I want an actual Starfleet uniform.
Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't good enough, honey.
More specifically, I want a First Contact late era DS9, the ones with the grey shoulders.
Yeah, they're real cool. Oh.
That's my favourite Starfleet uniform.
And Benjamin motherfucking Sisko can wear it. Ooh, he can wear that uniform. Oh, baseball me, daddy. I love it.
Right.
I love it how it's just like this big hipster, like, I like baseball. And everyone's like, baseball?
No one's played that for hundreds of years. It's a shit sport for twats.
And it's like saying, I'm quite a fan of snake kicking.
Oh, that sport.
Yeah, it's very old sport.
the popular English sport of snake kicking. That's why we barely have any snakes, because everyone was kicking the shit out of them.
Yeah, no, it was like football. That's where like the original soccer style kind of kick came from. Because it'd be like, Tally ho, Watson! And then that's the sound of them doing like a football kick, and they'd kick the snake. They used to call it Kicky Snaky Boys.
Right.
But, it's a different dialect back then, and that was technically classified as swearing, like, nincompoop was back in the old Wild West days.
Yeah.
So, and so they play Kicky Snaky Boys.
Okay, I'm going to talk about something else for a second.
I mean, if you want me to stop educating people, fine.
I also have caught up with The Expanse.
Yes.
I was like...
Amos is still my husband, I've decided.
Amos is great.
Then you won't mind sharing a bed with him.
I actually found I looked up the person that writes the books and has got. I think he actually has a fair bit to do with the series making it.
Is that the guy's tweets you were showing me the other day who was super baller?
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he's pretty rad.
Someone was complaining at him for like being like anti fucking weirdo fascists.
For being a good person.
For being a good person, and then someone was like, you can't, like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, I'm a fan, you should pay attention to me. And he just said, I don't want fans like you. Fuck off. I'm like, good,
my
good.
man.
Yeah, I appreciate someone who's upfront like that. But yeah, I've caught up to the Expanse where it is now, because I think it's the 5th season is currently coming out on Amazon Prime, and I was like, I know I'm in season 4, and I accidentally got to the end of what had been currently aired. I was like, okay, I've caught up now. Yeah, I do really like the Expanse, although I realise there's a kind of a weird quirk to it, which is that in the first season and a bit, though ostensibly Holden is the main character.
Is it a bit like a Piper from Orange is the New Black?
No, not at all.
Okay.
He's kind of the main character, but there's quite a lot of different characters rolling around, so whatever. But as the show goes on, he becomes really the central character around which a lot kind of revolves, and he's kind of the central hero character. But for the first 2 seasons of the show, he doesn't really do anything heroic. All that happens with him is that people give him decisions, and they go, "Would you like to make choice A or choice B?" And he makes that choice.
Fight the Reapers, or
basically, it's
fight the Geth.
He just makes decisions, and that's mostly what he does. And it's kind of weird. You sit there and you go, this being adapted from a book, well, books make sense in that regard, because that would kind of scan as to how that would work, because an action, a character that's more sort of mulls over the moral implications of questions works in a novel, but in a TV series, a bit more of an action bent is usually required. So it felt a bit weird. He's sort of become a bit more of a conventional kind of hero character since then, and has also gained more of a personality. So that's kind of good. But overall, yeah, I do really enjoy it. Looking forward to see where it goes, because obviously I haven't read the books or anything, so I don't know if it's caught up with the books, or if it's off in its own weird world like Game of Thrones did. But whatever, is cool. Also, speaking about sci-fi, I just before watching this watched one of the weirdest, worst things I've seen in a long time.
This is the thing that just you describing it to me got my ass so fucking heated.
Yeah.
I got mad.
So I'm not going to go super, super deep into this, purely because I want to talk about this at length at a later date, because I want to watch more of it. But, so you're aware of Jerry Anderson, who made things like Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet.
Yes, I've just realised where you're going with this, yes.
Yeah. Now, he made these old puppet shows. He started with, I think the first one he made was I think it was a Western thing. It's called Four Feather Falls. I've never seen that one. But then he made stuff like Fireball XL5 and Supercar, which is not a car. It's a submersible plane. It drives me nuts.
This is the fucking Matrix hovercraft all over again, isn't it?
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
It doesn't have wheels. It's not a car. But then he made like Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet and Joe 90 and that kind of thing. And I think one of the last ones he did that was still puppet based was Secret Service. And then he made Space 1999 and UFO. Well, other way round in terms of production, those were, which were live action, so with humans, but they still had all the special effects. And these things are notable for having this very particular kind of vibe to them. They were this sci-fi. They were sci-fi. They had really good special effects for a TV show, fantastic special effects. But most of them were done with puppets. These were marionette-style puppets. And then they had a couple that were done with live-action things. And I think Secret Service was kind of half live-action, half puppets. I vaguely remember watching it and it being weird, but whatever. Now, after all those were made, in 1983, he made a show called Terra Hawks.
As in Earth Terror.
Yeah.
Not, ooh, that's frightening.
And it is a spectacular thing to witness because it is so rare that you see something and you go into it, and obviously you go, well, I've seen enough of his work to know how it'll look and feel. Like, the soundtracks always kind of sound the same because it's by a guy called Barry Gray, who just writes the same kind of music, and it's great. Special effects always look kind of the same. The puppets sometimes change style a little bit, but it's all more or less the same kind of thing. Terrahawks is worse than every Jerry Anderson thing you've seen by a measurable way in every way.
Can confirm.
Like, name an aspect of television or an action television series, and I will tell you a way in which it is worse.
Empathetic characters.
The characters are either no character or the main character is a hateful prick who I hate. I have never hated a puppet so much.
Love interest.
There is no chemistry between anything in the show.
Okay, interesting story.
There is, it's interesting, but because it's so spectacularly terrible, not because it's well written.
Okay.
Explosions.
They're just not quite up to the same quality.
Action scenes?
They're badly edited.
Great. Voice acting.
Really badly recorded compared to the other ones. You
I love this game.
loads of just fuzz, and it's really obvious, like, that lots of the voices are done by like the same three people putting on voices. But yeah, because that game could go on for literally hours.
It could. Yeah.
Basically, the big changes is that rather than them being marionettes, they're actually like Muppet-style puppets. So it's like a guy's hand up them.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah.
I would, honestly, if I had to put my hand up one of those things, I'd cut it the fuck off. I would rather have, like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
But Jerry Anderson rises from the grave and is like, oh, I'll set your house on fire, or you do one of these puppets, I'd be like, everything in here's gonna burn.
Yeah.
Also, I'd shoot him in the head because he's a fucking, like, zombie.
So yeah, the puppets are just terrible. So yeah, the way the puppets work is that, yeah, they're like a Muppet style thing. So a guy's hand is up them and then they can control the arms. Now on the upside, that means that they do have a lot more movement than the puppets you used to in Jerry Anderson stuff. They can move their arms and stuff. So like the big villain, who's called Zelda for some reason, is able to like be more emotive with like her actions, like, and that's kind of cool. But the downside is that they have a jaw inside like a rubberized face, and so
I mean, same, but like...
And so like you'll see like one of them talking, and you can see the skin on their entire face stretching down as their mouth moves.
So it looks like fucking 90s prosthetics.
Yeah, basically a good gauge is if you've ever seen the original Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Not Labyrinth, Dark Crystal, rather.
Okay, then no one.
And you know how the Gelflings look? Mm-hmm. They look like, and they work like those do, except they're trying to make them look like humans. So they settle into this weird uncanny valley thing that is terrifying.
Yeah.
The music is worse. It's not got. It doesn't. It's like an electronic soundtrack rather than the kind of orchestral stuff you used to it. The designs.
Every time you say that and it's like that period, I just think of the Knight Rider theme.
It's closer to that than Thunderbirds.
Okay. Cool.
The designs for all of the like special like aircraft they've got look shit. Like they're just badly designed. And they're not as well made as the old ones. Like, you know, when you watch like bad model work and you see things moving and you can see them kind of wobbling when they move. And Thunderbird stuff didn't tend to have that because it was really well constructed. This has all that kind of stuff, so it's just that constantly. And yeah, the main character is a guy called Dr. Tiger Neinstein.
As in no stone.
And he is...
Not a stone.
He is a fucking prick.
Oh, he's like super racist?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. A reoccurring joke is there is an Asian character and everyone mocks how he talks.
Comedy!
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
There's like these balls that are they're like robots and they're just these spheres.
You mean roballs?
They're roballs.
Okay.
And they are all obviously sentient. They all have like their own fucking accents and voices. They have feelings and emotion. They demonstrate them. But the main character is like, you disobeyed an order there, and they did it in order to try and save someone, sort of thing. It's like, you disobeyed an order, and they're like, I just thought. And he's like, no, you're not supposed to think. You don't think. You're a machine.
Shit, it reminds me of my schooling. This is my pencil. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Like, he's just... I hate this character!
I came in, because I was making dinner, and I ain't seen this guy before, and I looked at the fucking screen, because we had paused it, and I literally stopped in the doorway and went, that is someone I will fucking shout at in a Sainsbury's car park for being a prick.
Yeah.
Like, that's an anti-masker. That's someone who'd cough at me, because, like, I was like, hey, mate, 2 meters, yeah, and he'd, like, cough at me, and then we'd fucking have a scrap.
Yeah.
And Wib turns around and goes, he's exactly like that, yes.
He gets mad at people. Like, a reoccurring gag is that in his ship he's got a video game and he keeps trying to beat his high score and he can't do it because people keep interrupting him.
Oh no, when will they build
and
his
then
statue?
The robot just casually beats his high score and he gets super pissed off about it, like an absolute child. And I'm sitting there going like, why is this the protagonist of this show? What the actual fuck?
I want him to die.
I want him to die. I want that character to be made into a real person so he can die.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I hate this character. I didn't know I could hate a puppet this much.
You found new ways to hate.
I found new ways to hate. I have very strong feelings about Terrahawks.
It's okay. It's okay. Do you want a squishmallow to calm down?
It's okay. It's okay.
I have 100 of them.
It's okay. I'm going to move on to something that I like.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I'm going to watch a bunch more Terrahawks because it is fascinating to watch because it is so shit.
I can't wait
it's
to
like
literally be kept up all night trying to sleep, and you're like, and another thing, he fucking did that, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, honey, he did.
Yeah, honey. Oh, honey.
It was a long time ago.
Drink your Horlicks, darling.
This is a show that has like a cult following, so like, I kind of want to see. Now, I will say that it is nowhere near. Like when I first started watching it, I was like, this is terrible. This sucks so bad. And then I had to kind of take a step back because I was like, okay, I'm just comparing this to the previous Jerry Anderson stuff, which even the stuff I didn't like was at least well made.
Yeah, no, that's,
like I could never get on with Joe 90, even if it does have a really cool like intro song.
Yeah, it has the best intro.
Joe 90, he has a big brain and he has a 90 size shoe. I don't know what the 90's for. Is he like, is it a 90 out of 100? I don't know.
I can't actually remember.
Is that the size of his cardigan?
The way it works is he's a kid and he has a pair of glasses that have like an interface.
Does he have 90 vision?
No, he has an interface.
Could you see through people's skin?
No.
What?
He has an interface that makes him able to retain like knowledge. Like that's it.
Well, then why is he so fucking special?
So he goes and sits in like this thing and it basically feeds in the information. So even though he's a child, it'll be like, oh, now you can fly a fighter jet. That's like what it is. He can just be an expert on anything he needs to be.
Okay, so
he's basically like the whole thing in the Matrix where they download like information into you. It's that, but it's like through his glasses. It's weird.
Okay.
That's all Joe 90 is.
So he's just a pathetic like
husk of a boy.
Husk of a child that is literally just nothing without technology. Except for his 90 vision.
I mean,
is it like the
we're
higher your
YouTubers,
vision
we're nothing
is?
without technology.
I mean, no, we're not. I thought you literally complaining on Twitter like last week about people should stop using self deprecating jokes, and then you're like here going, wow, I'm sure fucking terrible.
But I'm challenging your assumption that being nothing without technology is like a thing that's like a useful like metric.
Everyone is something.
But Joe 90 isn't.
But Joe 90 isn't, apart from the fact that, again, is it like 2020? Is that like...
I don't know!
Okay, but like, I'm just asking.
It
like,
might
Drummer
even-
Matt probably knows.
Given
Drummer
that-
Matt, if like the higher the number, does that mean the better your vision? Or is it like, if he had 1-1 vision, would that mean that he sees in like 6D? Also, Drummer Matt, did you see that tweet I posted about an advert on Instagram, which was a 5D molded bra?
Yeah,
5 dimensions?
Yeah, all 5 dimensions, yeah.
All 5 dimensions, including time, like, because time's like the 4th, I think. I'm being very layman-y about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, 9090 vision. So I've decided that's what they probably thought, because they didn't have Wikipedia in the olden days.
It might even be set in the year 1990.
That's really shit and really implausible. That impossible. I do not believe that that's actually a thing. Maybe he's got like maybe his legs are 90. Like,
the show was made in the 60s.
Maybe it was supposed to be Joe 60, but then, like, the letter fell, the number.
So, what I also did was
up?
I played some Star Trek Squadrons. It's not Star Trek Squadrons, Star Wars Squadrons.
Fake fan! Can't believe you're pretending to like sci-fi to impress men on the internet.
Anytime I have to talk about either one of those things for any extended period of time, I will make that mistake at some point.
Well, I mean, enjoy it, because if I make that mistake, I get like 3 people in my mentions being like, wow, dumb bitch doesn't even know sci-fi, what a faker. So, I feel good.
Yeah. People would now have to say that to Webb.
I mean, the thing is, he kind of likes it when you call him a bench, so it's fine, but like, I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the thing now.
The thing. Yeah, I'm intrigued. Is it good?
Star Trek Squadrons.
Star Wars Squadrons.
Is it good?
It is very good.
Didn't Longfang buy it for you?
No, you bought it.
I bought it, yeah.
You were obviously very drunk.
I was not. I don't need to be drunk to be that fucking irresponsible or like, what not lightheaded, but...
Some Christmas money went to buy it.
Went to the buy it.
It was put to it to buy it.
I was thinking because Longfang got it first, so I was
yes,
just like...
yeah. So, Star Wars Squadrons is, a flight sim kind of thing where you fly around in fighters from the Star Wars. Yeah. It's specifically set in the just post, Endor era. So...
Yeah.
It's, Imperial Remnant fighting against the burgeoning New Republic. And yeah, there's a story mode and there's multiplayer. Now, I've done, I'm like a bit of the way through the story. I haven't beat it yet. But I've mostly been playing the multiplayer, which I played with a few people. I've not been playing the PvP stuff because I'm very bad at the video game.
Oh, I fucking hate PvP.
So I've mostly been playing the PvE version of Fleet Battles.
Nice.
And yeah, it's just really well put together. You hear, all the sounds are right. Everything looks like believable. So like, you look at you sitting down inside the cockpit of an X-Wing and you can kind of look around and you see all the bells and whistles.
Is this in VR as well as non-VR?
Yes, I have been trying it in VR as well, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, the game just works really well. It's not too... It's like quite arcadey in sort of, it doesn't get into like hard flight sim stuff, but there's enough meat there to like, like you can be flicking like power to different subsystems and change like the direction of your shielding, and like if you're in something like the B-wing, because that's one of the things you can have, you can like make the whole body rotate around you. You can do that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's very cool. And it's interesting is like it's bringing in a lot of things from different places. So like the basic thing you have for the like rebel side, well, alliance side, not that's alliance, republic side rather, is an X-wing, a Y-wing, an A-wing, a U-wing, and a B-wing. And you can obviously like change the color of your things, which is pretty fun. different color schemes, so you can, so if you can have your X-wing as part of Red Squadron if you want.
That'd be pretty cool.
And for the Imperial side, you've got a regular TIE fighter, a TIE bomber, a TIE interceptor.
Pad TIE.
The one I can never remember the name of ever, which is the weird flat one, and a TIE defender. Which, if you've not encountered a TIE defender, because it's from old Legends and then it was recanonized in, I think, Rebels.
In my head, a TIE defender is like you get those like pocket defenders to put your pens in.
It's just a little sheet.
It's just like a plastic sheath you put over your tie so you don't damage your tie.
You laminate your necktie so it doesn't get like ink on it or anything.
Well, it's basically... if you know what the TIE Interceptor looks like, which is the one from Return of the Jedi that's got like the pointed solar panels that like angle inwards. You see a bunch of them in the Battle at Endor. It's basically got, instead of having 2 of those wings, it's got 3 of them and they're the wrong way round, so they're pointed outwards.
No.
TIE Defenders are really weird looking. It brings in ships from, so like, there's the Architons class, the thing that's recently been in The Mandalorian and was in Rebels. It's got the weird little Imperial ship that was in Battlefront 2. That's like a mini kind of diamond, like wedge-shaped sort of ships, like a mini Star Destroyer, which is kind of interesting. And it brings in like a lot of characters from other from places that like you go, oh shit, I wasn't expecting to see them. So Captain Syndulla comes up from Rebels, and you've got what's her name? Sloane from the Aftermath trilogy shows up, so that's kind of fun. And just brings in a lot of things, and that's kind of cool. The multiplayer like fleet battles I really, really like, just the general loadout of how that works. So basically what happens is each side has like, it's 5 players a side, although I've only been playing it like,
so it's like 5 like players versus like 5 NPCs.
Yeah. And they are in one of these the fighters that you can have, and you can just pick whatever you want. Then there's 2 like ships, like cruisers alongside you, which if you're on the Republic side, it's 2 Nebulon Bs, and you've got your big capital ship that's an MC-75. And then if you're kind of on the offensive, then you'll be joined by a CR-70, which will come in to help you, which is the little blockade runner thing you see at the start of A New Hope. And then you are fighting against an Imperial thing that has the kind of Imperial equivalents, though. So, like, it's a Star Destroyer that you're fighting a couple of Architons. And there's, like it's a MOBA. There's, like, what they call the like, trash NPCs.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Wow.
That are sort of, like, there to just kill. What are they called? Is it, like, creeps or something they call them?
Trash enemies, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of those around, so there's like just like non-hero X-wings and TIE fighters knocking around, and basically by destroying those or destroying players, it sort of sends the battle one way or another. And then when it goes far enough one way, like the morale goes enough one way, then you can take on the cruisers and take those cruisers down, and then take on the big ship, the capital ship, and like that has like you can take down shield generators and like it's targeting like array and its generator and thing, and then eventually take down the ship. And because if you're concentrating on the capital ship, then you're not concentrating on yourself so much, so you're probably going to get shot down a fair bit, and so that means that the morale goes the other way, so you're constantly going backwards and forwards, like going on offenses against each other. And as the game goes on,
a control point match from TF2.
Yeah, and the capital ships are like the 2 fleets are slowly getting closer to each other, so they will eventually like meet. So it's not going to go on forever.
Very slowly ram into each other and just crumple each other.
I think I've not seen it happen. I've seen them get pretty close, but I think they just come alongside each other and we'll just start like broadsiding each other. And
I could draw that was like
like broadsides. I'm listening.
Broadsides.
It's always ended before it got that close, but
yeah.
But yeah, so it's sort of it's just a really interesting game type that I really like. I played a bunch of it.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. It is cool.
I have 2 questions, if you don't mind. How is it in VR? Are you just like in a cockpit and you can like look around, sort of thing?
Yes, it is.
That sounds amazing.
Is the VR just the camera?
The VR is just your head to just move around, and that's it. That's all it does.
How does that make you feel motion sick?
No, it didn't make me feel motion sick.
Okay, cool.
I don't seem to be particularly prone to motion sickness in VR, so it's probably fine. But personally, I found playing in VR was kind of easier because you can look around your cockpit so much and get a bit of a better. You've got a better view of everything around you. So yeah, I kind of liked it, and it was also just really cool to just kind of look around the cockpit and see all the little like around things, and you sort of get a real grasp of like the how well like made these cockpits were.
I mean, Longfang was showing me that you can get like little doohickeys for your cockpit, so you can have like a little like porg.
Yeah, you can have little
like thingy there.
I think it's like a wooden mysterious bird or something. it's called. Yeah, you can just have those.
I can see yourself. You could fall down a slippery slope there because can you? I guess you could fly it with like flight sim style controls.
You can, yes. If you've got yourself a stick,
and then like because you got it in VR and you can see the stick in the like game, and then you can feel the stick in real life. That would probably be really satisfying.
Apparently it is. I'm sure that Super Bunny Hop did a video about doing just that and saying that it really scratched an itch.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. My second question: how much EA bullshit is in it?
I haven't encountered any.
Okay.
Yikes.
In terms of like
there's a lot
microtransactions and just general nonsense.
I don't think there's any microtransactions in it. Like everything to unlock is like just
that doesn't sound right. Maybe
just
aesthetics,
aesthetic stuff, and you can unlock all that just by playing games and earning the resources that way. You just get like a currency and you spend it on what you want. There might be some stuff like that, but I haven't noticed it. I think EA's retreated a lot on that stuff because Battlefront 2 happened.
Yeah,
I thought so, but I just didn't quite believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, I can recommend it. But that's what I have to say. So, yeah. Snipe.
Hi.
What have you been up to?
Well, apart from having some problems with my medical prescriptions, which I'm sure anyone who follows me on Twitter will know about.
Yeah.
I've been okay. I've been mood-wise getting a bit better because let's be honest, it's been fucking rough on everyone.
Yep.
But yeah, I've been playing some games.
Nice.
And I watched a show. So I've been playing some Red Dead Online, which is you can get that separately for some fucking reason. Of course, it's full of fucking microtransactions because this is what capitalism does to art. It ruins it.
Well, I mean, they learned from GTA Online, which is ridiculous.
They're still
so much money
for it. So yeah, exactly. I mean, like there is one like sprinkle of sugar on the shit Sunday, which is they do still update GTA Online despite it being like 7 years old.
It terrifies me how old Grand Theft Auto 5 is.
Yeah, 7 fucking years old.
Whoa.
But yeah, and honestly, it's good. I enjoy it. I've been playing it with Longfang on stream. It's fun. It really does suck because they lock like certain classes behind like paywalls. Like Bounty Hunter's really fun. It is exactly what it sounds like. But if you're a Twitch Prime user, you can get it for free for a limited time, and it's just like, I bought this fucking game. I shouldn't have to fucking I'm not going to get started on microtransactions because they are super fucking scummy. But yeah, no, I've been enjoying it. It's a good little multiplayer game. I really don't like how because it is like there are other players that you can encounter who can just fucking kill you. There is you do have like the peace flag option for your camp, so you won't be like randomly murdered in the street or whatever. But like it's still like some missions force you into PvP, and it's just like, don't ever fucking do that. Don't ever do that. it's such a douchey thing to fucking do. I don't have much to say about it apart from it's a perfectly enjoyable like multiplayer experience. I don't think I'd play it on its own. But yeah, it's pretty good. I've also been playing, speaking of VR, Half-Life Alyx.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've played a bit of that as well.
Yeah, I honest to God thought it would barely run, but it runs surprisingly well on our machine.
Oh,
and
nice.
with our our headset. Because we were like, oh, this is pretty new and it looks pretty gorgeous.
Yeah, between having...
We were like, oh, it might have to turn it quite low on settings, but no, it looks really good.
Yeah, because our graphics card, you said 1060, I think?
Yeah, GTX 1060.
Okay, that's probably about as good as... Mine's a 970, so it's like a generation older, but the model up, so I think they're probably roughly equivalent.
Yeah, I've been wanting to, I've been looking into, getting a new card, just because,
We are starting to
notice some kind of slowdown, but it's going to be a bit pricey. But at the same time, I am looking into building a second machine. So we have the work machine, and then we have the leisure machine.
Yeah.
So it'd be perfect for a secondary rig, and I've been looking into the fucking 3060.
Yeah.
Oh my! I have to sit on my fucking hands. That thing is $1,500, and it is the sexiest. I mean, that's
when you say looking into, what you mean is drooling at, and then I go, we are never, ever, 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 ever paying even half of what that is.
No, because it is $1,500, and it's
you mean the 3090, the ludicrous.
Oh, 3090, thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fucking intense.
Yeah. And it's not even that, because you have to buy it from scalpers at the moment. So it's not even...
Yeah, which, fuck scalpers, they're pieces of shit, and I fucking hate
But
them.
if we're getting into VR stuff, then
Yeah, definitely. Because a lot of the newer cards are kind of they're more geared for it, because VR is getting a lot more accessible and a lot cheaper. And so it's this is the time to get a relatively future-proof card, and while if I was a millionaire, I'd definitely buy one of the fancy boys. It's no. Anyway, I'm drooling about graphics cards, but so Half-Life Alyx is a prequel. So Alex is 19 at the time, and I was really, really impressed with just how much you can interact with. And the thing is, it has the kind of where you can just move forward, on your on one of your controllers, you can just move and there's no snapping.
Yeah.
I personally feel that would make me feel quite sick.
Yeah, I was going to ask what movement setting you've got it on.
There's two. You can pick whether it's snappy or if it's fluid. You can pick which one you want, and I picked the snappy one, which honestly I adjusted to really quickly.
So you point to where you want to go and teleport.
Yeah, you kind of point, and then you kind of use the analog stick, and it gives you a little this is where you'll end up, and then you move the analog stick around so you can orientate your direction. Which is, honestly, it was a bit weird to start with, but it was really cool. And I spent the first 15 minutes of the game trying to grab pigeons. Because I really wanted to, and it wouldn't fucking let me.
How many dongles have you drawn on the window with the marker pens?
So many. There's a part where you go into a basement, and there's some of the marker pens, and there's a bunch of combines standing outside, and I drew dicks all around them. I drew stink lines on them. I've honestly... fucking rebel over here. I'm bad to the bone, me. But yeah, and I like it how you can open doors not by grabbing them, but if it's a push door, you can just move your hand to open them. So you can put pressure on, and the thing is, your controllers kind of vibrate a little when you're not.
It's so satisfying, right?
Oh, it's so good. It gives you feedback, and I was like, oh. Okay, and after a while, it was just there's a part where a gun gets pointed at you, and I instinctively put my hands up, and it was literally no, keep your hands up. Whereas when Wib played it, he kept grabbing, going to grab the gun, and the guy was like, no, and just kept moving it away, and I was like, I wish he'd have shot you, because it's that's really silly that because Wib had his hands up, and he slowly reached out, it's hoping the guy wouldn't notice, and then as soon as he went to grab it, the guy would yank it out the way, no, my gun. And it's why hasn't he fucking killed you? That's ridiculous. But yeah, no, it's really pretty. It looks good. It's very well optimized considering the rig we're running. like can run it as well as it can. Like I will say, you can't grab a pigeon, or at least I haven't figured out how to. So 0 out of 10.
I will say that the big thing that it did was make me go, God, I miss when Valve made video games.
Right.
Because they're really
just like, sitting there and just having money, just being landlords of video games.
Yeah, like
get a job, Valve.
Yeah, Valve, fucking make games again, you shits.
Yeah. But yeah, Half-Life Alyx is great.
Half-Life Alyx is really good. After like an hour and a bit, my eyes started to ache a bit. Because I think that's just a VR thing, because you've got literally like a fucking CRT in front of your eyeballs, so it's gonna give you some eye strain.
Yeah, after about 2 hours or so in VR,
about 2 hours,
like, it really starts to strain my eyes, and I have to take it off.
Yeah, but honestly, like, I was quite impressed. And yeah, it was the whole kind of like, oh, I miss when Valve made games. Especially because I spent like the first, because having played a few VR games where you can just interact with shit around you, I will say like the feedback from like picking things up, it feels really natural, and it just feels really good. And like when you like chuck shit, because like you start off on a rooftop, and like spoilers, and I was just like hucking cans off the fucking balcony, like aiming for the people down below, which I think if you get something near them, they do look up like, what the fuck is your problem? And I'm just like, I have hands. And like, yeah, it felt really good. Like and you fed the little bug.
I fed the bug, yes.
You can feed the bug, friend, and it's really cute, and I love them. But yeah, no, I'm quite impressed, because I was just like the sparkle of Valve has kind of like dulled over the years with all the green light bullshit and just everything.
The green light bullshit and the aggressive monetization and the cornering of the market.
Yeah,
and
just
let's
just say Valve being a bit shitty.
Yeah, Valve have been kind of a bit shit for a while.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting much, and I was just like, actually, this is really good. So, I have talked about this game before, but I bought a new expansion pack because everything I like is commodified, and I am nothing more than a walking decimal point for the world. I know a lot of people are very angry about this expansion pack for The Sims 4. Journey to Batuu, which is like the Star Wars expansion.
Right.
And loads of people in the Sims community are really mad about it, because it's basically just an advertisement for Galaxy's End, which is the
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge, yeah, which is like the Disney World like Star Wars section. And I totally get where they're coming from, because it like some of it does feel quite theme parky. But also it let me stand there and tell jokes and hug Kylo Ren and Rey, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's worth the price of admission, because I got fucking force choked by Kylo Ren, and I was just
That's all you've ever wanted.
Yeah, really?
He chokes you, and your sim gets dropped down and goes, oh yes, harder, and Kylo Ren's like, what? And you're like, what?
What? It's like I suddenly get the very flirty mood, like moodlet. But no, it's because I couldn't just send a sim in there. I had to make a me sim, because I want to be like a Jedi. So I went in, and it's like you have to take like a vacation to do it, but it doesn't cost you anything, and you have like special like galactic credits. Which so you can like your sim can be super rich out in the world, but the moment you go to Batuu, then you need to do missions. It's like WoW fucking like quests.
Is it built on the same kind of thing as was it Strangerville?
No, it's different from that, and
Okay.
I'm glad it is, because it's just nice to have something different. But yeah, there's 3 factions. There's First Order, there's the Rebels, the Resistance, and then there's the Scoundrels. Now you can raise as much. You rep grind. You actually rep grind. You can raise your reputation with the Scoundrels as much as you want, and it won't affect the other 2. Whereas every kind of positive every kind of positive piece of rep you get with like one faction, like say the First Order or the Resistance, lowers it for the other.
Yeah.
Interchange, like, you know. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going Resistance because it's cool. And then Ray showed up and I just freaked out and I gave her loads of hugs and now we're like best friends. Not bragging, but it's getting pretty serious. And like, you find like kyber crystals in like just wandering around the areas, because there's like 3 areas. There's like the neutral area, there's the Resistance area, then there's the First Order area.
If I remember rightly, it is actually based on the Galaxy's Edge layout of the actual theme park. But then Batuu is like literally a place in universe. Like Galaxy's Edge, you going there and experiencing that theme park is a canonical event. It's fucking weird how really Batuu is integrated.
Like End of the World aside, like I saw because Tom Scar got paid basically. He did like to basically make a video of him going there. And they have like the lightsaber ceremony, because you can get like a special lightsaber made for you, and there's like a guy in like the fucking like get up and like the robes and shit, and he's talking about the history of lightsabers and how they're this beautiful weapon that you must honor. And I was honestly crying. I was just like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. I know it's like, this is going to cost 3 months rent, but I want one, and I want the experience, and it's so pretty. I don't care. And if the TSA agents try and take it off me, I'm going to force choke them. It's going to be great. It was, one day I'd really like to do that. But, yeah, and like you can make your, you find like lightsaber hilts, and you find kyber crystals, and you can get your own droid.
Yeah, you can get an astromech.
You can get an astromech, yeah.
Nice.
And they've got like a surprising kind of amount of like different kind of like submodels of them. I just went for a classic R2 unit. It's R249, my boy. You can change, like you can tinker with them. You can change their personality upgrade. They are a wandering radio. You can put music on. I love it. It's fun. It's really fun. I am very biased because I like Star Wars, so I was just like. And you can also scan things. So there's like the Millennium fucking Falcon just there. And you can do the Kessel run. Only if your like reputation is high enough. And you can try it. And you can scan it and it'll give you like flavor text about the actual thing. And I'm like, that's really cool. And you got like speeders hanging around. Unfortunately, there's this weird bug where literally everyone is a bald man. So I'm going in with like, there's a cheat you can put in where you can just edit people's like facial features and stuff.
You're talking about just the general NPCs.
Just the NPCs wandering around, like everyone's like a bald man, and any of like the people who are women are like they're a bit more diverse. But the thing is, they've got stuff in there for Twi'leks. They got stuff in there for fucking like Darth Maul's race. I can't remember.
Zabraks.
Yeah, they've got that. They've got the green dudes with black hair and face tattoos.
It's Zabraks, isn't it? Is it Zabraks, isn't it?
That sounds about right, but honestly, I don't know.
I always forget that one.
Yeah, and you can, there's like a bunch of things you can have, but there's just none of them fucking wandering around. So I'm like, fuck this, and I'm making people like, oh god, what's the blue-skinned, red-eyed people?
Oh yeah, I always forget those.
I can't. But I'm making them like that because otherwise it's just.
Chiss. You mean those
Chiss? Yeah. That's
Sorry, I thought you meant the ones that look more like grey aliens.
No. I really like Chiss. I should know because I have a Chiss sniper and it's like Star Wars: The Old Republic. I should fucking know better. But yeah, and so apart from me having to do that, it's because like you go to shops and it's just it shows you like a picture of the person who works there, or like the alien who works there, and what you can buy with your galactic credits, and you do missions to get money. So like it was like, oh, go and scan. This is for the Resistance, of course. It's like go and scan a bunch of crates in the First Order district. Don't guess, and then I got ID'd by fucking 800 stormtroopers. I just kept getting ID'd because like they kept walking past while I was like being sneaky, and they were like, "Hey, I need to see your ID," and I'm like, "Yeah, hi, I'm over 21." I got ID'd for non-alcoholic cider the other day. Not in The Sims.
Oh, right, okay.
Just in the shops, because I was like, because it's literally alcohol free, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. So I literally got into a fist fight with a stormtrooper. They beat me, quite literally, and then they escorted me to the fucking cells, and I had to wait like 3 hours for them to be done with me, and then kick me out into the street, and I was just like, my droid's just like, well, I guess I'm waiting here.
See, that's why
it was a bit too real.
That's why you need to get an astromech like fucking Chopper, because he'll break you out and murder all the stormtroopers because he's a little maniac.
Well, the thing is, my friendship level I don't think was high enough with my droids.
Yeah.
So
you haven't unlocked homicidal rage yet.
No, I haven't unlocked that chip yet. No. But yeah, and there's other things like sneak into the First Order, like area and scan their hollows and stuff like that. And I went to scan a bunch of like weapons crates in the First Order area, and as I was doing it, I just see fucking Kylo Ren strutting up to me. He fucking whips out his lightsaber, and I'm like, oh, am I gonna watch a sim die? And then, he just started force choking me and then fucking, like, yeeted me away. And I was like, well, okay. And then I got the debuff of, like, Kylo Ren fear. And it was like, oh, you can't go near Kylo Ren because he's scary. And I'm like, no. And then, like, I waited for that to pass. It took, like, an in-game hour for me to get over my fear of Kylo Ren. And then, because my sim's polite, she was like, hi, and shook his hand like, hi, I'm Frankie Sorrow, and big fan. And then now we're just like mates, and I love it. And I'm friends with like Ray as well. And who's the scoundrel
You're
guy?
that awkward, the awkward one where you're friends with both of them, and they're going through some times, and you're like, you don't want to, stick up.
Oh
for
no,
one
I am
person.
straight up orchestrating their romance because they're too fucking stupid to do it themselves. Because Jesus fucking Christ, are you serious?
This was made before.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Rise of Skywalker, wasn't it?
A simpler and more beautiful time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and honest, I've been having fun with it. It's like. It is obviously a shill, and it's obviously just like commodification of something I really enjoy. But you know what? I turn that bit of my brain off, and I just enjoy it.
Yeah, I totally get that.
I've been playing like Sabak with that fucking the head scoundrel alien guy. What is he? Because you recognized him.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
This is just let's Google names edition of the podcast.
Oh shit, what's his name? Yeah, he's been in both Rebels and his name's falling out of my head. Yeah, he's like head pirate guy.
Yeah. He's basically the rep leader of the Scoundrels.
Yeah.
So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I've kind of like I've gotten a bit further on with a Sith character, and one of the, because you get quests you can pick, and it's literally go do XYZ, go talk to this person, scan this thing, hack that, just standard kind of like MMO quest stuff. And then it gives you like reputation, an item, and some money, like some credits. And so I chose one, and one of them was literally just, I'll give you 250 credits if you go and spread like First Order propaganda. That's actually what the thing was, and I was like, okay. And you can like recruit people to the Resistance or the First Order. I keep asking Kylo Ren about the Resistance, and he keeps being like, they are disgusting, they're scum, oh, I'm gonna kill them, and I'm like, okay, but like, there's maybe like, not all of them, right? Right? And he's like, no, all of them, and I'm like, sure. Oh, come on, Kyle, come on. Kyle Ben, the strength of 10 men.
That's what his name means.
But yeah, he likes jokes about he likes jokes about like octopuses. That's his favorite genre of joke. I've learned that. And also, like, I was watching Ray do lightsaber training, and I literally squeed and did a little dance in my chair because I'm just it got me. And I know I'm a fucking, like, hack. But you know what? I enjoyed it. And it's fine. But yeah, it's fun. And yeah, the fact that it's just got quests and shit. So if you get bored of, like, a life sim, you can just go play, like, a really shitty Star Wars MMO with no one else. It's fun. It's weird.
An MMO with no one else around. Or to put it another way, a better version of an MMO.
The best version of an MMO, exactly. Last thing I've done...
I like people, shut up.
Oh, it's like that guy in Greg's today. Okay, so... I was in Greg's this morning because I had to go out and get some shopping. I wasn't just going out for a Greg's because I'm not an irresponsible fucking douche. And it was relatively early in the morning, so, you know, there's not many people around. Good. And I was waiting in line, and there was these two people, and it was a guy and a lady, and they were old, like maybe like mid-40s, kind of 50s. So immediately I'm
Don't say old, we're not that as far away from that as I like.
Yeah, I was expecting that to be quite a lot further away from us.
Speak for yourself, I've just turned 23.
Oh yeah, they were really old. They're like, less than 10 years older than you are.
31. Like, so old. It's like, Grandpa, I can see your hairpiece.
But yeah, and the woman was just really, like, loud and shouty. I mean, it's like, which is fine. I don't really care if you're a loud and shouty person. But, you know that kind of thing where, like, you know, people act drunk, so they're kind of, like, flailing their heads around and just, like, cackling?
Yeah.
I mean, she wasn't drunk, as far as I could tell. I couldn't smell anything on her. And the guy was just this miserable statue of bastard. He was just, like... Because he asked for, like, a couple of pizza rolls or whatever.
This is probably going to offend you both dramatically, but was it just you two from the future?
No, because I would have been drunk at that time.
There would be no two ways about it.
Yeah, you would have known. But
Okay,
yeah,
right.
and there was, like, the Greg's employee was like, okay, there you go. And, like the woman was constantly in and out shouting at the guy and the employee, like, not in a nasty way, but in a kind of, like, really not kind of, like, okay, kind of like an overly familiar kind of thing. And the guy was like, okay, I'm just trying to do my fucking job here. And then they go to leave, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can rock up. And the guy comes storming back up, and he points in, like, this bag, and he goes, I asked for 2. And the guy goes, I got you 2. He's like, no, you didn't, I asked for 2. And the guy's like, the employee's just kind of like, I gave you 2. You paid for 2. You've got 2. You can tell he's really got, like, no fucking patience. And then the woman fucking comes in and she's like, no, you didn't hear him right. He wanted 2 in one bag, so it's 3 altogether. And the employee kind of just looks at them and goes, okay. And he goes and gets another one and they pay for it. And then I get my coffee and my sandwich. And because it's quite a small Greg's, so, like, you know, the saccharin and the sugar and stuff is, like, not too far away from the till. So, you know, and the guy must have thought I put my earphones back in because I had my hood up because it was raining a bit, and I'm just, like, stirring my coffee, and I hear this guy turn around to his coworker and go, you know, I used to really love people. 2 years at fucking Greg's has changed that. And I was like, and then he starts recounting, like, this dickhead comes in, fucking wanker. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And the woman was like, like, she was so fucking used to it and just like, yeah. And it's like, Jesus Christ, they don't pay you poor people enough. But anyway, yes, that was my aside.
It was one hell of an aside.
Yeah, but I have been watching a show. Now, a few people have recommended this to me because apparently I'm in it. And I was like, oh shit, okay. So it's an anime called Dorohedoro. And it's like a weird, like, apocalyptic kind of, like, setting anime. And usually I fucking hate CGI anime. But this actually does it pretty well. So I don't mind it so much. And it's kind of like, it's set in an environment, it's called, like, the area that the main characters live in is called, like, The Hole. Which is, like, fair. I feel that. And basically magic users will just open up portals into like the main kind of area and just cast magic spells on people for practice, just because.
Oh,
and the thing is,
like
it's
nice people.
They are really not, because it's like they turn people's heads into like macaw heads, or they turn people into like these horrible fucking mangled insect human hybrid abominations that die horribly, and it's just really horrible.
Oh, is this the one with that character
Kaiman.
called Noi?
Cayman. Yeah, Noi, that's the one.
I remember people mentioning this one once or twice.
Yeah, exactly. And
I mean, I have no idea what their character's like, but just from the stills.
I'll tell you. So, anyone who doesn't know, this is, like, before I even had an inkling to watch it, I was getting people adding me on Twitter with pictures of a character called Noi, who is a tall, grey-haired, heavily pierced muscle woman. And I was like, shit, that's just me. And they were like, oh my god, I didn't know you were in Dorohedoro. And I'm like, fucking what? Oh shit, guess I am. Well, okay then. But yeah, and Noi is, even though she's on kind of maybe she's on like the wizard side, but she's also like super cute, and despite the fact she's like big and muscular, she's still like very nice, despite the fact that, you know, she like kills people. It's a weird one. There's a lot of like levels there.
When I was watching a bit of it with you, I think I pointed out that like it reminds me of like Saints Row, especially like Saints Row 3 and 4, where yes, you commit crimes, you kill people, but like in that world, that's not really too much of a character defect, because everyone is a fucking weirdo monster in that world.
It does have a very good sense of humor. I was actually quite impressed by how funny it was. Like, Cayman is like, he's like one of the main characters. And he has the head of like a Godzilla looking fucking spiky boy, like lizard. And you're introduced to him with him picking up a guy and shoving his head in his mouth. And then like you see from the perspective of the guy who's got his head in Cayman's mouth, and this fucking anime dude just crawls his way from inside of Cayman's throat, looks at him and goes, "You're not him." And then like goes back down his throat, and then he pulls his head out, and the guy's like covered in blood because it's like, you know, his teeth have caught him on his head, and he's got this 1,000-yard stare, and Cayman's like, "Hey, what did the guy say?" And he's like, "What?" It's like, "The guy in my mouth, what did he say to you?" It's like, "Oh, he said I'm not him." And he's like, "Oh god, another one." And then just kills him. And it's like, what? What the fuck? He literally has a guy that is in his mouth, that whenever he finds like a wizard, he'll put them in his mouth before he kills them, and like
just
then
to
he'll
see
be like,
if they're
"Hey,"
the right one.
yeah, and he's like, "Hey, what did the guy in my throat say?" And they're all like, "What?" And then, oh my god, that part with the little girl.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really fun, and I really like emotionally connect with Cayman because he is obsessed with gyoza, much like myself, because gyoza is the fucking bomb.
Oh, yes.
It's so good. Duck gyoza, I want it so bad. But yeah, it's a really entertaining show, and it's really fucking weird.
It is also incredibly violent and gory.
Incredibly violent.
It's something that I think there's certain like the violence elements of it.
There's a lot of quite like visceral violence,
and especially how it is shown in the show might be a bit
might
much
turn
for some
people off, but that's okay. I completely understand. Also,
some of the subject matter's a bit grim.
Yeah, so you know, like it's standard anime kind of warnings. But also, yeah.
Does it have
you had that scene?
No, not yet.
I was just about to say.
There was a part where a character has their boob out, but it's not in any way sexualized. It's just like they've had to regrow their face, so they're kind of a bit like wappy and scatterbrained. So like the guy assigned to her has to dress her, and she's just kind of like all over the place, not thinking right. And he's like, I can't figure out how to put this dress on her, and because it's like a really complicated, strappy little number. And so he's like, he puts it on and like, this is the closest I can get, but her boob's hanging out and she's just got like one tit hanging out. It's really fucking funny. And like, it's not sexualized or anything. It's just, yeah, haha, look at this guy doesn't know how to deal with dresses, haha. Also her tits out, lol. It's not sexualized at all. But I mean, there is like, it's kind of got a lot of gallows humor about it. Like there's one part where every like once a year, like when the sun sets, everyone killed by a wizard rises from the fucking grave, like as zombies, and basically enacts this horrible fucking like murderous rampage on the city, on the whole. And basically all these like fighters just go there, and it's like a fucking fairgrounds, and every time you get like there's like a little disc in their head, so you basically collect them, and then you basically exchange them for like a new fucking hand mixer.
It's basically Chuck E. Cheese.
It's Chuck E. fucking Cheese, murder. But you kill people. It's like, what? It's because they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that new mincer so I can make even better gyoza. And Cayman's like, you fuck yes. Nikaido is the lady, and she's so fucking cool. And it's like, yeah, no, we're gonna like team up, and we're gonna like stack our coupons, and we're gonna get that fucking mincer for your restaurant. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. But yeah, I was actually really impressed with how much I enjoyed it. Because it is fucking nuts. And it is super violent, but it also has like a really fun sense of humor, even when dealing with quite dark subject matter. So it's like, holy fuck, okay. But yeah, look up, it's probably on doesthedogdie.com, which is great for if you want to...
Hang on, what?
doesthedogdie.com. It's basically, that's what I go on with a lot of horror movies, because, you know, if you have any specific triggers, like with me, pregnancy is a trigger, and it makes me freak the fuck out, and I hate it, and it makes me feel sick. So, before I watch a horror movie, if I think maybe there's going to be something in there, I go on doesthedogdie.com and search for the movie or the TV show, and like, it can get a little spoilery, but usually it's just like a yes or no checklist. So it's like, oh, does someone choke? Yes, no.
Yeah. Is there a tiny man living in someone's throat who someone has to jam the face down to talk to them?
I think there are some elements of Dorohedoro that are designed to make any kind of checklist go, where someone's watching it. It's like, there's a famous story of when Texas Chainsaw Massacre was being rated in Britain. And the person was sitting there who was rating it and going we
don't have like ratings for whatever the fuck that is.
According to our ratings, there is nothing in this that means that we have to like mark it as being particularly bad, but it is.
Yeah. Even till like, I remember I rewatched that in college with all the film students, and there were certain elements that really kind of made me get skeezed out. It's like when Leatherface hits that guy in the head with a mallet, and it's just so real.
It's unsettling.
It's unsettling because it's just so unceremonious, and it just, even to this day, it kind of makes me feel a bit...
Yeah, well, that was what they were going for. So.
I mean, it fucking worked, but yeah. That's all I've been up to. And thank you for everyone who suggested Dorohedoro. It's very cool, and it's nice to see that I am in it. Also, it's really funny because I know from the manga that Noi was basically, because she's a big muscly fucking woman, and she's like in a tracksuit, and she has like a mask on, because like all the wizards wear masks. And I know in the manga that it was like a big a woman like reveal for Noi, but the thing is, in the manga, in the anime, she's just like got like a very feminine kind of like coded voice. So then when she pulls off her mask, everyone's like, a girl! And it's like, yeah, no shit, mate. no fucking shit, she's a woman. But yeah, that's everything I have to talk about. Drumbly Bumbly.
Hello.
What have you been up to, dear?
I watched Discovery, we've already spoken about that. You also tried to watch The Witcher, finally.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. played the games, but you know.
Yeah, I did exactly the same thing with the show as I tried with the games. I've tried to get into the games and played it for like an hour or two and just can't get into it. And
that's fair. Not even the allure of Henry Cavill can do it for you.
Huh? Exactly. We watched the first 2 episodes, and I was like, I just don't know what's happening, and I just don't.
When's the bath scene?
Not in the first 2 episodes.
Well, then who cares?
Oh yeah, exactly. No, it was really weird. Like it was fine, but there was just nothing about it apart from we only stuck out the second episode because we had an inkling that's when the song happened, and the song is great.
The song into your Witcher.
The song is amazing.
I haven't even heard it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I've heard it's good.
And yeah, we had an inkling that happened at the end of the second episode. So we're like, so that's basically the only reason why we stuck out watching the second episode. I think we would have stopped sooner than that. But I'm glad we did, because it meant that we gave it a bit more of a fair try. But
I will say, if you like Witcher music, there's a song from the third Witcher game called The Wolven Storm, and it is fucking beautiful.
Okay.
I cannot recommend it enough. And it's like, it obviously has elements. It's referencing like Geralt and Yennefer and another couple of things, but like you don't need to know anything about it to just enjoy the fact that it's a beautiful fucking song. Okay. So yeah, can't recommend that enough. That's a really nice one.
Good. But yeah, didn't enjoy the show, honestly. It was a weird one as well. We had to watch most of it with subtitles on because like the dialogue is so low in the mix compared to like all of the other stuff's going on. We just couldn't hear we were like rewinding it every like few lines and be like, wait, what did they say? And because there's so many names and things thrown at you and like place names and things that you should probably I guess learn.
Rivia.
And we were just like, wait, what did they say? Might be important. So we ended up watching it with like subtitles on. So I was like, this can't be the intended effect. I don't know. Oh yeah, we just found it weird.
It does, because I have heard some people say, not many, but some people go, oh, you don't even need to be a fan of it. And it's like, well, obviously you fucking do.
Yeah, we had no idea what was going on for the entire 2 episodes, basically.
That's
and I think if we did, we probably would have enjoyed it a bit more. We wouldn't have spent half the time being like, wait, who's this? What's happening? Wait, what?
Yeah. There is, like, when it comes to the Witcher story, there is so fucking much. Like, little intricacies. Like, if I said the Trial of Grasses, you'd probably go, what? It's like, yeah, exactly. Like the whole dependence on concoctions and potions and stuff, that's a big part of Witcher lore. Like in the first Witcher game, there was like, you had a toxicity level because basically like anything a Witcher can like concoct would kill a normal person. But, you know, and it will kill a Witcher if they just fucking like butt chug all that stuff. So yeah, and there's so many fucking little intricacies. There's little bits of warring nations and just the how witches, like how they used to be loads more, and how like, you know, like nobody really wants them around, and how Geralt used to have to sit outside of towns waiting for people to allow him to go in because he's seen as such a freak. And it's just like, yeah, there's a lot, so I completely understand how it just fucking lost you immediately.
Yeah,
And also, Longfang, I'm really sorry if I got anything wrong. Please feel free to tell me that I'm a big, stupid, stinky head, because Longfang is the bastion of all knowledge for basically everything cool. So...
Fair. Yeah, we didn't stick it out, I'm afraid.
That's fair,
We did finish Kipo. There's a new series of Kipo, though. It just keeps getting better and better. Excellent.
What was that?
Kipo. Yeah. Have you seen Kipo? Okay. I'm sure you watched the first bit of Kipo.
No.
Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts on Netflix.
You, Ash, and Sarah have been raving about it, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll get around it because I'm a terrible person.
It's by far my favourite cartoon. Or like animated show or whatever you call it.
Oh wow!
It's so good, and it's so good on like so many levels. Like just the story's good, but then the characters are good, and the message it sends is good, and just so good.
That does sound super cool.
It's very excellent.
I look forward to actually finally getting around to watching it in 4 years, but yeah, because I'm shit like that.
Away from TV, I'm afraid I'm going to have to complete the trifecta of the three of us all talking about VR.
Success!
I do apologise to people who don't have a VR set, and for good reason. They're still like bloody expensive, even though they're getting more achievable. They're still like
the only reason we have one is because Lynn Squigley is an incredibly generous soul. So we got
just to remind people, last time we spoke, I just ordered it and then we collected it in the meantime. So we have an Oculus Quest, this second one too, which is like 300 quid, which is a large amount of money, and I don't want to like pretend it's not, but it is also very affordable compared to what VR was not that long ago.
Oh Jesus, yeah. I remember when in our friend group there was one person who had all the gadgets, and he's just like that. But yeah, he had one, like a really big fancy one ages ago, and he was like the only one for a very long time, understandably, because Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But sorry, I didn't mean to completely interrupt you.
No, not at all. No. Yeah, so far it's really good. I mean, I've said the caveats before, like, Facebook nonsense, and the limiting factor as well on it now is that because it's like an Oculus thing, you buy games off the Oculus store, so you are limited to, you can't get them off Steam or get them off Amazon or get them off anywhere else. So there is limitations to it, which we were fully aware when we bought it. But that aside, it's really flipping good. I'm so impressed with how like good the screens are and how good everything feels. The only comparison I have is that we tried a friend's HTC Vive beforehand just to see if we'd get on with VR. So that's from like 5 years ago, I want to say.
Maybe. And
it was like 700 or 800 quid or something. So it was like high end at the time, but it's old. So I was like, well, this is like cheap now, but it's new, so it'll probably be comparable. And this seems so much better in terms of
the tech has come on like
it leaps and bounds. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just thought I'd just do a quick run through some of the games we've been playing on it.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
So first off, and I wouldn't even normally mention this one, but it's just their like little tutorial game. I think it's called First Steps or something. But it is such a good tutorial of just like how the system works. So you like, and one of the good things is because you can stream to your phone, so you can like, because it's not plugged into the PC. I mean, you can plug it into the PC, but in its default setting, so there's no wire to the PC. There's no headphone cable coming out, the speakers built into it. You've literally just got the headset in your head and the controllers in your hand. And you don't even need the controllers in your hand. You can just use, it does have hand tracking. It's in like beta. And
that's nuts.
Not all games support it, so all the games we played with controllers. But if you put the controllers down, at least in like the home menu and things, you can just use your hands instead.
Wow.
Which is completely ridiculous.
That is mind-blowing, yeah.
But yeah, just that you can cast it to your phone and watch on your phone, and you can launch the tutorial app from your phone, so you can put it to someone. They're just in like a home screen, which is just like, a room, basically.
It's like a construct kind of thing.
Yeah, and then you can like launch the tutorial from your phone. You can say like launch tutorial, so you don't even have to like teach them how to use the menu system and things. I'm like, this is just little touches like that. Like they know that people are going to be showing this to like their like parents and various things who've never played a computer game before, potentially. Yeah. It's so just this little touches like that. And yeah, in this First Steps, you start off and you just got a desk in front of you, and it's like, right, use this button to point your fingers, this button to grip things, right, try picking up a block. And you just reach out and pick it up, and it's just like, okay, that's great. You're like, wait, hang on, I didn't know really how to do that. You just sort of reach up and grab it, and it does it. And it's like, then paper aeroplanes appear, and it's just, yeah, for me, fine, whatever. I've played computer games before, but watching people play it who've never played a computer game before, just being able to reach out and pick up the virtual paper aeroplane and then instinctively throw it across the room was amazing.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
I mean, that's one thing I really do enjoy about VR is that when you're suitably immersed in a good VR experience, it's like you stop thinking about controls in a weird way.
Yeah.
You just kind of start being a lot more instinctive about things. Like, the whole, I got a gun pointed at me, I put my hands up, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Certain stuff like that. It's nice.
It reminds me a bit of like when the Wii was the big thing, and how just intuitive that was for people to get into. So like you could put that in front of like your parents, and they just instantly be able to play
They'd be like,
it.
oh, so it's like this. It's like, there you go.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of that. And there's things like you mentioned earlier, the haptic feedback thing, so you can like, when you pick things up, you get a bit of feedback when you actually grip onto it. So it doesn't feel like you're holding it, but the fact that you can see yourself holding it and you feel something, it tricks your brain into thinking, oh yeah, no, I did feel picking it up.
It doesn't have to be the right feeling, but as long as it's a feeling.
And combined with the vision overrides most other feelings. So the two combined, like, yeah. And I wouldn't usually bang on about like a tutorial thing, but it's so well made. It's great.
The whole VR thing does remind me, and I appreciate this isn't a very good comparison, but it just kind of like sprang to mind. So when I first got hearing aids, the way hearing aids sound when you first get them is obviously you can hear you can hear the frequency that you're deaf to. Amplified, and you're like, oh shit. It's like I came into the flat when I first got them and I was like, what's that noise? And Wib was like, that's the computer. And I'm like, I didn't know I made that noise.
You couldn't hear the little clicky noise that hard drives make when they
it's like there's loads of things like that. But when you have it in for the first I think it's supposed to last 3 days to 2 weeks is the adjustment period, where there's a split-second delay between between a sound happening and the amplification, because of course there's going to be.
Yeah.
It's not 1-1, and it is really disorientating to get to adjust to it. But then your brain goes, okay, this is something obviously that I need to work around, and then your brain just
brains are so cool.
Yeah, my audiologist was like, yeah, you're kind of like learning how to hear again, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
That's
and
fine.
Yeah, I'll do that. I mean,
So
apparently
I remember when I
fucked
last
it
did
up
that,
the first time. I apparently flunked hearing lessons 101. Thus, this is my fucking makeup.
Oh, so your brain just adds in that delay to your sight, I guess? Or does it... or something?
It, removes the I don't know.
I guess it just stops you noticing it.
It just stops you... Because, after a few days, I can not wear my hearing aids for a few days because I've not been wearing them very often because I'm not completely deaf without them.
I guess just around the flat or whatever.
Yeah, just around the flat, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to have to go because I get free batteries, which is fucking great, and I don't because if for a ring of batteries, it's like a revolver fucking
Really?
cartridge,
Nice.
yeah, and it literally has like a spinner on it as well. It's really cool. And I those just for one with 6 in it, it's like a $5, and I'm like, that fucking mounts up, especially because it's 2 at a time and they usually go around the same time. And hearing aid battery usually lasts me. Well, lately I think I must have got a dud pack because every time I'm putting him in, one of my batteries dies, and it's really annoying. But yeah. So yeah, I haven't really been wearing them because I'm like, I can just go back to Specsavers and get a handful of batteries, but at the same time, I don't really want to be going into town, pandemic and shit. But yeah, no, it kind of feels a bit like that. So there is a dissonance between your what you're experiencing and kind of with VR, and then it just feels like maybe your brain adjusts to it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I really did trip over that a lot, but also
No.
I'm happy to spread knowledge about hearing aids, or being hard of hearing or lowercase d deaf, because not many people know anything about it. So if I can help educate people, I am very happy to do so. And wearing hearing aids, they pinch the top of your ears a little bit sometimes, and it's not very fun. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you with my disability talk.
Not at all. Yeah, brains are amazing. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, games you've been playing. So other than the tutorial, which I should probably talk less about, even though it's flipping cool.
Dude, if it's cool, it's cool.
I'm gonna. I've joined the two of you talking about VR. I'm gonna join the two of you talking about Star Wars. So,
oh yeah.
We've been playing a game called Vader Immortal.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Which is possibly a Quest exclusive, possibly not. I don't know.
I mean, I haven't seen it anywhere, and yeah, it probably is a Quest exclusive.
I don't think it is, no.
Well, I was looking up that Batman one that Drummer Matt was talking about, and unfortunately that's we can't do it, because we have Windows virtual reality.
No, I'm pretty sure I've seen people talk about Vader Immortal from before the Quest came out. So.
Okay, well, I think I mean I say Quest exclusive, I mean Oculus exclusive. Yeah. So it would have been on. It might have been on.
What
the
is
Rift
it called?
before.
Vader Reborn.
Immortal.
There we go.
Anyway, whatever.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it talked about by people who didn't have an Oculus. So.
Okay, fair enough. But anyway,
I might be wrong, but
you're just like a. What's the Star Wars?
Do you have to dress up Darth Vader? Why am I not playing it right now?
You get to feel
maybe
let Vader.
Let Matt tell you what the game is.
No, I've decided what it is already, and it's way better in my brain. So you have to massage coconut oil into Darth Vader's butt.
Matthew,
that is kind of what I did.
Is.
Minus the coconut oil, but I did. Yeah, I'll get to that bit. So you're like what's the Star Wars equivalent of a rogue trader? Like a
Smuggler
type thing, and you're just flying above the planet that Darth Vader's from. Oh no, not where he's from. Where his base is, the one that's on fire. That's the one. Thank you. Yep, I am. I've seen the films and haven't seen any more Star Wars. So I do not claim to be like a uber fan, which is perfectly allowed.
Yep.
Mustafari's in a couple of the films.
It's in fucking...
Yeah, I know, but I don't remember the names of these things.
It's in the Rise of fucking Skywalker, but you'd never know.
And yeah, you're just like, you get pulled into like tractor beam attaches you and pulls you up to their ship, and then you get out, and then Darth Vader turns up and goes, "What's up? Think you might be helpful? Try and open this thing." And you just have to play with like a puzzle cube, and it pops up, and he's like...
I love the idea of you get like abducted by Darth Vader, and he's like, "I can't figure out this fucking like Rubik's Cube. Can you do it for me?"
But in essence, yeah. But the whole time, I mean, it's already lost all like kind of seriousness, because the first time he comes up to you, because you can do whatever you want, like, you know, VR. I'm just like stood there, like he's talking to me, and I'm just like, my hand on his face, caressing him.
yeah, you do that.
I did that with Master
Tried
Chief.
to reach around and grabbing his ass and things, which is like.
It reminds me of those. There was LA Noire VR, like compilation videos where like it would. Like, this guy just filmed himself, like, just, like, stroking.
Yeah, like, you do that. You do that. Like, whatever VR thing is, you will stroke the person in front of you.
You will try and remove the pens from their pocket. You will try and make them... Didn't I, with the guy in fucking Half-Life Alyx, didn't I try and make him drink from a cup? It's like, he's like, "Big sip, oh, he's thirsty, boy. Oh, he's so thirsty." And he was just like, "Alex... please."
Oh, he actually responded to it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because if he did, I would have shat myself and burnt my VR headset. It would have been terrifying.
Yeah, Vader doesn't... I mean, in my head, under his helmet, he is reacting to it, and he's just, like, rolling his eyes, but...
He's like, "Oh, this is the third one this week."
But yeah, he goes off and you have to...
kink. And he's like, "Oh,
Maybe.
Finally, someone to satisfy me."
But yeah, so he goes off and he says, "You've got to go and do this thing," and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you wander off and you got like lots of... It's kind of a... You just do a bit of everything, so you do like a bit of exploring. And it's got the same like teleport controls. I think you can turn on like fluid controls where you just move, but I prefer the teleport ones.
Yeah, same.
And then you got like climbing bits, which is always fun. And then like halfway through, you just find a lightsaber. You're like, okay, this is cool. And then you spend the rest of because it's episodic. There's like 3 episodes, so it's very short. That's the only downside of it. It's like maybe an hour.
A little short for a Star Wars game, aren't you?
But like you spend the rest of the episode, like first off, you like there's a load of stormtroopers coming at you, and you're like deflecting their lasers back at them and like taking them out with your lightsaber, which is the coolest. And then it gets to the end, and you do like a Darth Vader appears, and it's big climax, and loads of like big droid things come to fight you, and you just have to fight them off, and you have like a proper like lightsaber fight with them. And it's like it's basically when the Wii, like coming back to the Wii again, when that first came out and everyone was like, you know, Zelda's gonna be so cool, you wave your thing to attack with your sword, and you do, but you like wave your Wii remote in any direction, it does a pre-animated like wave animation. But no, this is like, you know, proper sword fighting and you like, you know, you have to block in the right time, and then you can like go nuts on like, yeah, it's very satisfying.
Honestly, that sounds so fucking cool.
I think I've heard later on in the next 2, which I haven't bought the next 2 episodes yet. Most presciently, because the day after I bought the first episode, the triple pack went on sale, but you had to buy it together as a triple pack, and I was like, oh that's annoying. So it was like, okay, I'll get there at some point.
But fun stuff if that happens, but you know, that's
it might not have been the day after. It was like a few days after, and I didn't notice it at the time anyway. So it's blah blah blah. But I'm like, well, maybe they might go on sale. So I'm like, okay, if I want to get the urge to play more of it, I'll buy it. But if I'm not going to play it right this second, I might as well wait to see if it comes on sale.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just by the way, I had a quick check. Vader Immortal is on the Oculus systems and PSVR. So.
Okay, yeah, quite a lot of things that are on the Oculus ones are also on PSVR, seemingly. I don't know if they've got like some sort of deal or I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's very good, and I've heard later on you get force powers apparently, so that'll be fun.
I have been really craving. Like, I remember they did like a Star Wars Jedi kind of like lightsaber fighting Kinect game, but that was for the fucking Kinect.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'd rather just hit someone with a cardboard tube. Like, I have really been jonesing for a proper like lightsaber fighting VR game because I'm just like,
When all this is over and we're allowed to like actually see each other in real life, I'll bring it up and you can play.
Thank you.
But, I mean, who knows when that'll be?
Yeah.
Score and 7 years from now.
We're in our third lockdown, baby.
But we're not going to talk about that because it's depressing and horrible.
Yeah.
And honestly, we hope all of you are doing okay. And if you're not doing okay, it's okay to not do okay. Just please take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, and know that we love you. And it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Also, Darth Vader, you can touch his booty.
Yeah.
I want to touch that big robo booty.
What other games have you been playing?
I Beat Saber, which I don't think I need to say much about. You've just got two lightsabers that aren't lightsabers, but they are. They're probably spelled differently.
Audio surf with lightsabers.
Yeah, and it's just fantastic. It's exactly what you expect it to be. You got to duck out of the way of walls and slash through blocks coming at you. And now I've had Crab Rave in my head for the last 2 weeks.
Crab Rave!
Nothing much to say about that. It's very excellent, very well made. Slightly disappointing, like, amount of tracks on there. There's not that many, and you can... I think if you've got the PC version, there's, like, people have made all manner of tracks for it, but because limited by the Oculus being Oculus.
Yeah.
But that's fine. It's still enough. Last game we played there's a Walking Dead game, which I've heard that's pretty good. I was done with Walking Dead, really, because, like, everyone was. But
I have one really important question, and this will determine whether I play it or not.
Okay.
And half the audience has just fucking rolled their eyes because they know what I'm going to say.
Yes.
Oh, fuck off.
Is Shane in it?
Is John Bernthal's character in it?
Yeah, Shane
Not
Ward.
Not
Is
yet.
he it? Not yet. Oh, but he will be.
It's set in New Orleans, so
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know how far that is away from wherever the series was set.
Pretty fucking far. But there's still hope.
There's still a chance. There's
still a chance.
So yeah,
And he's like, just because they pretended he was a bad guy for the latter half of his character arc, it's fine. I haven't seen it. I don't give a fuck. I just like watching the GIFs.
Who knows? No one's seen it at this point.
Did I tell you? Okay, was one John Bernthal fact I want to share.
We're already running quite late.
Okay, quickly. Okay, so John Bernthal, there was a scene in The Walking Dead where he like has sex with somebody in the woods. And after that episode aired, like it was like 11 p.m. at night, his grandma called him and was like, John, I saw you on TV having sex in the woods.
Oh no.
And you're a married man now and you shouldn't be doing that.
Well,
and it's like, Grandma, don't watch.
Why don't you know what TV is?
Your grandma, like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
She's angry at the people in the picture box.
And then, they're so small and far away. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, yeah, so far it is really satisfying. Like, just like, the graphics are like basically, I want to say utter wank. They're not great at all, but you kind of don't notice that because it's like immersive, because it's VR, so it gets quite a free pass on that.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it does start to grate. But yeah, it's just like, you've got like weapons on either side, which you just reach down to. The first thing I did, you get a knife in your holster and you put it in your whichever way around.
Can you like properly like spin it?
For me, it was, so the first thing I did, you pick it up and you pick it up out your pocket, whichever way your hand is round, that's the way you pick it up. So you can have it like, sticking up or down from your grip. But the first thing I did, I got it out from my side so it's like knife, like blade down. I threw it up in the air, flipping around 180 and caught it in my other hand so I could stab forwards. And I was just without thinking, I just did it. And it worked.
Dude.
And I was like, wait, that actually just worked. What?
I wish I could give you inspiration points in real life. That is so fucking cool.
It's so... Because it's how I get screwdrivers out in my pocket. I'll get them out with one hand and throw it to the other. Just, I don't know, it's like kind of what I do with screwdrivers.
Because you need everyone to know within a 50-yard radius that you are literally a professional at sex.
Yeah, obviously.
I think there is a
that was a compliment. Oh my god, that's so cool.
There is a fundamental human need to, when you're holding something, to, even if you don't need to flip it around in your hand at some point. So,
and you can just do that, and it's like exactly as intuitive. Like, I didn't think about doing it, I just did it, and it worked.
So
I was
cool.
like, this is so satisfying. And then the process of like, the gameplay is not the most interesting, but the fact that you have to like, you crouch down to sneak. So you're like crouching down in real life. There is a button for crouch, but like
my knees just started crying.
Yeah, okay. There is a button to do it if it's achy, but like which I haven't resorted to quite yet. To like sneak up and then you have to, you get up and then you have to like stab them in the head, and it's like because you're doing it. It's like if this was just a computer game, it'd be rubbish, but because you're doing it. You're acting it out. It's so satisfying.
You probably look like an absolute fucking psychopath.
Oh yeah, you look. I'll set up a camera or something and film a few bits of it because it'll be hilarious probably. But yeah, really good so far. The only limiting factor is that there's no this whole teleport to move thing isn't in. You just you hold the joystick and that's the way you move, which is all the other games I've tried out. I preferred the teleport thing because it made me feel a bit less wobbly. So this one you can't do that. You just have to like have smooth motion.
Yeah.
So I can only play it for like half an hour, maybe an hour max so far. And I don't know if it's because I'm not that used to VR because I've not had it that long. But that is a slight annoyance. And I don't know what they do to get around it. I guess just the teleport thing. But the game is so based on like sneaking around and moving. I don't know if it would work.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. But what did help, though, weirdly enough, so this would be another reason why it will look excellent to an outsider, is that if I'm just looking forward and I'm holding forward and moving, it feels a bit... And you do have various things like your field of view, sort of like you get a ring around it that narrows down as you're moving, and you can turn that off or you can turn it up and depending on... So you don't get as much like peripheral vision when you're moving.
Okay.
So you can play with that to try and get over some of the motion blur or motion sickness things. So I've had a bit of a play with that. But one of the things that massively helped is that if I walked on the spot while walking forward, it made a massive difference.
I guess it's like that. There's not that distance between.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that I'm not moving my legs in that I would move forwards, and like consciously I know that, but subconsciously it seems to somehow work, and it's fine.
Well, that's the thing. That's what like motion sickness it comes from is from the dissonance between what your body is interpreting and what you're witnessing.
Yeah, exactly.
Your brain thinks you're poisoned. So
exactly, and the distance between walking on the spot and actually walking to move isn't that much compared to not walking and moving. So it like actually helps, which is quite hilarious. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But you've got like you can just like you've got a backpack in your thing, which is reach over your shoulder and grab, and everything is very
Alex
intuitive.
Has got that
and
too.
Yeah. It's good so far. I've only an hour or so into it, so we'll see. I'll report back on whether I get more used to the motion on that one. But so far, it's pretty satisfying.
You know what I have been meaning to try out? VR pornography.
Yeah, I mean,
because like
it took me a few hours to think about it, but I was like, I wonder.
Well, I mean, we downloaded Sin VR, which honestly is just like Barbie dolls with like blue tack dicks, but it's just like out of not because I want to get off, but just because I'm really curious as to how that would work. Because like you're not getting any feedback.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could be.
I mean, to be fair, like you'd have to go above and beyond to get some feedback, but it's still kind of like. I mean, the funniest thing I've ever seen in VR was there was I can't remember what game it was, but a guy like someone was playing it, so you saw the hands out, and it's just like jiggling the boobs, and then like like stroking the face, and then picking her up by her boobs and swinging her around, and then letting go, and she just flies off like it's like. Godspeed, you magnificent porn queen.
I think that person won at sex.
I think that is literally Drummer Matt and that guy are going to have a fight. But yeah, is this that one secret tip that'll drive her wild?
Throw her out the window by her tits.
Reminds me of a terrible joke my mother used to tell. It was like two sex workers talking on the street corner, and one of them goes, "You ever been picked up by the fuzz?" And the other one goes, "No, but I've been swung around by the tits."
Yeah.
Which is just like, that's hilarious. Also, yeah, just the idea of calling the police the fuzz is the funniest fucking thing. But yeah, so yeah, I am very curious as to see, because I don't want to go to Pornhub and just view like first person porn, because I don't care. But I do want to see kind of like VR porn games.
Oh, you want like actual interactive VR porn?
Yeah, because
you get video. videos like are filmed with like a 360 camera, and you can put.
I have seen
around.
videos of them being filmed. It's the funniest fucking thing. Like the cameraman standing over the lady on the couch, and then like a guy on like shaking her legs back and forth so it looks like she's being rammed, and it's just like, sex is so fucking stupid. This is great.
I think like quite often when they do that now, they've just got like a
they've got a GoPro on the guy.
Like a GoPro. So it's really funny just thinking about a guy like fucking going to town on someone with a GoPro on. There's just something so inherently funny about
this is the thing. I'm
to
sure
me.
some people really do enjoy like VR porn or VR porn games, but honestly, it's so silly.
It's about how the sausage is made. Thinking about
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like, okay, so there's like 3 other people in the room, and this guy's got a GoPro on, and there's also like
the director's in the corner.
There's a guy being passed a donut. It's that kind of thing, and it's just like I am curious to see
somewhere warming their hands up.
Yeah, exactly.
Fluff was put out of business by Viagra.
Yeah,
I know. It's a disappointment.
Fluff your dick for $1.
But anyway, we should probably move on from this because we still have questions.
I love
to
it
do.
how I had a John Bernthal quote, like story, and that was fine. But I started talking about VR pornography, and I was like, no, let her talk. Anyway, is that everything?
Questions.
Okay. Oh, questiones.
Yeah,
what
questions.
is the email address, drummermat?
I believe it's thedrummermat@gmail.com.
It absolutely is. Please email in recommending VR pornography if you're interested in it.
Don't.
Okay, don't. Also, you know what? Email me and tell me what your favorite Pokemon is.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, and you can also have like a couple of sentences saying why if you'd like to, or you just email in and just go Bulbasaur, because Bulbasaur is a friend and a boy.
My favourite Pokemon is Coughing, because he's round and purple
and has a derp face.
And he has a derpy face.
My favourite Pokemon is I think it's a 3-way tie between Cubone, Charmander, and Bulbasaur.
That's fair. Matt, what's your favourite Pokemon?
I currently want to say Kevin because I've named him Kevin.
Okay,
but
what is a Kevin?
He was a Bagon, so.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Bagon!
Yeah, but his name was really satisfying to me. Although it makes less sense now he's been evolved.
Yeah,
but,
he's Kevin though.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, we love him. He's precious.
Okay, so what questions we got? We'll try and get through these.
Okay. This first one is deserves a longer answer than we're about to give it. So it is a long question which I've paraphrased already, so apologies for that.
Oh god.
Been catching up with the backlash of episodes. Just got to episode
Backlash of episodes. Love it. Love
Excellent.
it.
Just got to episode 69.
Nice.
Yep, thank you. In an earlier episode, at some point, we were talking about BoJack, and obviously we recommended it because it's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to raise a point and see what our thoughts were. So,
who was this, by the way?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Max. Sorry,
hi, Max.
Yeah, apologies. So they felt that there was a pretty sharp divide between seasons 1 to 4 and then 5 and 6. Basically, in short, 1 to 4 focused more on like BoJack's directionlessness and his inability to find happiness, and it was more BoJack focused. Whereas 5 and 6, it was more focused on like substance abuse and then the damage that he does to those around him rather than himself. Basically, do we have any thoughts on this potential change of direction? Did we notice it?
You've not seen the last season, have you?
No, but I know the way it goes, and honestly, I think that it was a very smart decision on the BoJack writers' part, because like that thing Todd says, it's like you can't just keep fucking up and being horrible and then just apologize and don't change.
Yeah,
because that was the kind of thing. Because I think a lot of people were probably getting dogged down with just how shit a person BoJack was, and how it was just, it kept going on, and BoJack's gonna fuck it all up because he's a piece of shit.
Like something would get better, and
then it'd
get
fuck
worse.
up immediately, and it was just very unsatisfying and kind of miserable. And even though he's not supposed to be a good guy, he is the protagonist.
Yeah, you're on his side. This is the point that Max had. Again, my last bullet point of this is that they had thoughts and I haven't written them down, so I'm trying to remember what the email said. But in essence, it was exactly what you were about to say, Snipe. I think in that, they were the protagonists and they were so even they were being shit, you were still on his side a bit. Whereas then you see how much of an effect he has on other people. it's good to see that. It's important to see that because
the real important thing is that they did the whole Filbert arc, which was literally the creators of the show going, just because a character is a protagonist, like, you're going to start seeing them as being a positive thing, and basically it was them acknowledging that kind of problem with the setup.
The fucking, like, the Rick and Morty problem.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Rick is a bad person, and just because he's basically the main character, it doesn't... If you relate to him, that's not good.
The fact
It's so many sardonic, like fucking edgy Reddit people were like, oh yeah, like, I'm just BoJack. It's like, that's not a good thing.
Well, because the thing is when...
Snipe, you're forgetting here that you just don't understand.
I don't have a physics degree, so I'm not smart enough to get it.
The important thing is that...
I'll go back to complaining about women in Star Wars.
The important thing is that when you frame a narrative from a character's perspective, it means that even if you, like in BoJack's case, you don't necessarily like the character, or you don't think that they're a good person, you are being primed to be more sympathetic to them than if they weren't the protagonist. And so it means that there is a responsibility in the creators to try and balance that well. And like I say, they explicitly acknowledge that with the whole Filbert thing in BoJack, so I think they did a really good job.
It is a tricky one because it happens a lot. Like the Punisher, as much as I love the Punisher, Frank Castle is not a good person.
No.
It's like, and he is not goals, and the fact that they have to put that shit in comic books. And also, the creator of The Punisher fucking hates the alt-right, and he thinks Black Lives Matter, so get fucked. Right-wing idiots, basically. I love how John Bernthal retweeted a thing basically talking about how Trump's a piece of shit, and literally his mentions would have been on fire. Because, like, he has actively told them all to go fuck themselves multiple times, which is very fun and satisfying to me, because the alt-right are just like, yeah, Punisher, it's so good, and it's like, no, he is not someone to look up to.
Yeah, no.
Frank Castle is a cautionary tale.
He's an interesting character, but not someone you're supposed to want to be.
No.
All right, moving on.
That got very serious very quickly. So, dicks, everybody!
Okay, well, not quite, but Murray. First up,
Murray.
They would probably want to be an ankylosaur.
That's a good choice. They're very powerful.
Good choice. Yeah, very good choice.
Classic.
A question. Apologies to Snipe in advance.
Oh no.
Any more luck getting into Railroad Empire? Am I the only one who's tried this?
Okay, I'm good.
Or have you played it?
Did I talk about Railroad Empire?
I feel from the wording of the question, I think you did, but I didn't remember if you played it or not.
I think that's the one that I played, and I couldn't be arsed with it.
I found the same, and Murray found exactly the same as well. Like, they want to love it, but just for whatever reason, it's not grabbing them.
Yeah, I think I think that's the one where it is both very oversimplified and unnecessarily complicated at the same time somehow. And yeah, basically, if it's the one I'm thinking of, then after talking about it on the podcast, I never played it again. So no, I haven't played it anymore.
Likewise. Game suggestion: Mud Runner. You just drive trucks through mud to deliver logs.
I have heard that's quite fun.
That sounds really satisfying.
I love it. If we heard that description like 20 years ago, we'd be like, oh no, that sounds like shit. But nowadays we're like, that sounds actually super
excellent.
Chill. I am so on board for that.
Mud physics.
Yes, to be fair, like, I love it how apparently overnight I've turned into a grandma. Like, I do fucking code break puzzles all the fucking time. I'm like,
get angry when people suggest you do a Sudoku instead.
Sudoku's shit!
Sudoku's great.
It's shit and I hate it.
I like Sudoku.
Sudoku is code breakers for bitches.
Anyway, James.
No. Hi, James.
Podcast recommendation. The 40k Badcast. It's very on brand for Snipe in particular.
So is it just thirsting after Primarchs?
Not quite, but I
think
then
it's not on brand for me, James.
Well, I think it's not on many tracks, I think, is what they're hinting at there. It might go off in a direction.
I feel that's kind of a read, but I mean it's
an accurate one.
But they do have an episode called Nazi Hams Fuck Off.
Good.
So, okay. I mean, that sounds promising.
You know what? They've shot the fuck up in my estimation. Was it Bad Hams?
Badcast.
I presume they were
40k Badcast.
40k Badcast.
Okay. Bad Hams.
I don't know if it's a YouTube one or if it's like a podcasty one.
Pod hams?
Pod hams. Quick question.
Is that what it is?
Oh, it's called Badcast.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I've said it multiple times.
And
you just kept saying the wrong thing and then going, that's what they said. The wrong thing I said is what they said.
Do we have... desperately trying to keep this under 7 hours. Do we have any legacy in inverted commas D&D characters that have changed over time? So like, you know, you got a vague idea, but then they've ended up as like in a different setting or a different.
Nope.
Something like that.
Closest thing I've got is the character of Peter Dunwich, who was originally done for a video game I wanted to make, and then ended up as my Call of Cthulhu character. And I am probably going to sneak into other places at some other point. That's the closest I've got.
Yeah. I've got a few of like, because when I'm thinking about a character, I tend to make a character in WoW and just kind of level and kind of see if I can get a feel for maybe what the character's like, dislikes, little habits, kind of things like that. It's also cool if I think up a character first and then do that, so I can kind of be it's a kind of more, I'm in the zone, I can see a character doing stuff, what do I think they're thinking about? So it just kind of helps me in that regard. So I have a good few. There's an orc lady. There's like basically like a druid, I guess should be, that is kind of like on the back burner, just waiting to go for the appropriate story. I've got a bunch of them because I like building characters and making characters, and then they never see the light of day. So,
have you got any, Matt?
No, honestly, the only characters I've made are for specific games. I've only used them in that for as long as that's run for. So, no, honestly, I haven't. I'm afraid.
Well, there you go then.
Interesting question, though.
Good question. Thanks, mate.
Next up, a roll and bread.
Hello, bread.
Dear Wob, Dimmer Matthew, and Francois Space Mutiny.
Bonjour.
Good.
What's everyone's favourite book series?
Discworld.
I mean, I'm going to be devil's advocate and not say Discworld, despite that being the answer.
Despite it being obvious.
His Dark Materials, the original trilogy, is really good. Currently being made into a TV series, which is actually surprisingly good as well.
I think I've got the first book of that one of the other band members lent to me before the world went to shit, so I haven't been able to give it back to them.
Yeah. And honestly, oh, sorry, carry on.
I really did. The first book I actually found a bit hard to read, just because I found the main character so annoying. She's just like a little kid, and she's just like bratty and
little
irritating.
Kids are annoying regardless. So
yeah, and I just couldn't really get over that, but still enjoyed it nonetheless. And then kind of got over it in the second book, and then by the third book, I was just like in tears for the whole time, and it's amazing.
Aww.
So
I'm going to be a bit of a contrarian and go the Witcher series as well, even though Sapkowski does suffer from men writing women syndrome.
Yeah.
Occasionally. But I guess I like the Witcher series mainly because of the positive feelings I have from the games, which took basically the stories and gave Geralt more of a personality. So yeah.
Back when CG Projekt Red were like a nice company.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they ever were.
No, it's
corporations are always bad.
Corporations aren't your
when we didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so hesitant to say this next one because, there's many, many, many caveats to this.
Okay.
Are you ready? I don't even dare say it.
Say it.
I enjoyed the Harry Potter books. I know. There's so many caveats to this. I can't even.
Okay, so
first she's a piece of shit. Just straight out.
Absolutely,
okay,
she is a piece of shit. She is a horrible TERF, and TERFs need to get the fuck out and shut the fuck up. But I will say, I understand because it was a part of so many people's childhoods, and it is very hard to disconnect. Especially because there's so many fucking books.
And even aside from the author, even within the books, they could be a lot better representation.
Oh, absolutely.
It was written in the 90s, which explains, accounts for. I don't know the best words. Some of it, but that's not necessarily
also,
an
like,
excuse.
Doesn't explain the whole essentialism that runs thoroughly through the books. But,
anyway, it is perfectly all right.
Many caveats.
It is perfectly all right to enjoy I hate the way this word's been twisted, but problematic pieces of media.
Yeah, I mean,
as long as you don't
enjoy
pretend,
Lovecraft, but being very aware that he was a knob.
Yeah,
So
just don't
not exactly the same. I appreciate, but
yeah, it's perfectly fine to enjoy these things, but also don't ever try and pretend that they aren't deeply flawed.
Yeah, which is hence why I went into it very cautiously.
And it is everything is flawed to a certain degree. J.K. Rowling, again, fuck TERFs, they are disgusting. My favourite Sonic meme is TERF is a slur to silence you. I wish it fucking worked. So yeah, fuck TERFs. And fuck J.K. Rowling. But no, I understand how it is difficult to...
I mean, we're of an age where we grew up with it, basically.
I didn't, but...
The characters were... Well, okay, but...
I started reading them when I was old enough that it's just like a thing I read, so I don't... It wasn't really
you're kind of like... You're like, we're the outliers here. Loads of people grew up, and they grew up at the same time as the characters did, which I think
exactly. Which is
very powerful.
Has a huge impact on it. Yeah, totally.
Exactly, yeah, because it's like, hey, look, I'm being represented. And it's really cool. And also, wouldn't it be great if I could just shout things and then, someone would turn into a cat or whatever? That's cool.
What I want to know is when we start, just replacing Harry Potter in culture with the true heir to the throne of school-based magic and just all start watching The Worst Witch again.
Which is a prequel to, which was, pre-Harry Potter.
It was made before Harry Potter and is remarkably similar.
Probably nothing.
Yeah.
I can't remember how old would we have been when that was out?
Oh,
the
about
first time
12.
round. Yeah, I believe, and I can't remember anything about it, but I just remember having a massive crush on the main character at the time, I think.
Oh my god, that makes so much sense, because she had really big cheeks.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And for those who don't know, Drama Matt's wife, War Master Ruth, has these adorably big cherub cheeks.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly never thought about it since basically then. You mentioned it and it stirred something in me.
Do you need a minute?
And that is when Matt found out about his type.
I remember talking to Drama Matt about his type years and years ago, and he's like, well, I quite like little girls. Wait, no.
That's not what I mean.
He meant short people. Not little girls.
Ladies that are
remember petite. Saying that.
I do, because I remember you stopping and going, oh fuck, no, that's not what I meant at all.
Okay, very last one. Theft. First of all, this is directing Theft directly.
Theft.
I don't know what you've been doing with your Google account, but the biggest phishing warning I've ever seen appeared at the top of your email. Google thinks you're super dodgy.
Google is
it was honestly this big bright yellow with red text phishing warning that I've never seen. Even on all the bullshit. Oh, can we promote your YouTube series email? All that sort of nonsense that we occasionally get through. None of that has anything. They have sometimes little warnings, but nothing this big. Yeah, don't know what you've been doing, but it was quite alarming.
They're like public Google enemy number one. Holy shit.
Yeah, apparently. So yeah,
wow.
just FYI. Moving on. So they've been having a big ongoing discussion about who would play all of the various Primarchs in a Horus Heresy movie.
Okay.
So this is their current rundown list. Do we have any thoughts on either their selection, or do we have any thoughts of our own? So,
okay.
Horus, Idris Elba.
Cool.
I'm
very
great.
charismatic.
Cast Idris Elba as basically everything. That would be fine.
Yeah. I'd be okay with that.
Just have Idris Elba play every Primarch.
I just think just have him come and live in my house.
Yeah, that would be fine. Mortarion, Ed Norton.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Yeah.
Sanguinius, Brad Pitt.
I think he's a bit old for it now.
No, I don't see that one, honestly.
No, I'd say someone like Josh Hutcherson. Because he's got a baby. He's the cake boy from Hunger Games.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, because he's all got the baby face, and he's like.
I understand that, but it's a tricky one because you need someone to be also the Primarchs are bulky.
Oh yeah, why is Ed Norton okay then? He's a literal pencil.
Because Mortarion is the one who's permanently sick.
Yeah, but
he's not. But,
he's not. No,
he's supposed to look a bit more gaunt. So
I'm trying to think of heartthrobs, but I'm so fucking out of it. H from Steps. Yeah, fucking let's have
fine.
H from Steps.
Right, that's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
H from Steps.
Russ. Either, there's a choice of two here, Chris Hemsworth or Sean Bean.
Sean Bean, I think, is too.
Can Sean Bean
fed
keep
up.
his accent?
No.
Well, that can
Because
just be the
if yes,
Fenrisian.
I'm all for
Yeah.
that.
Winter is coming.
Yeah, that's just the Fenrisian accent. No one said that it had to sound like it was a Nordic accent.
Yeah, that's fair,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fair.
It could just be Sheffield. That's fine.
I love Chef.
It's northern. It doesn't, it's fine.
Russ from Sheffield is something I didn't know I wanted, but now it's
right.
all I want.
Yes, I would. Yeah,
Fenris
that's
is a deaf world. Get your cardigan.
bastard.
Bastard. Oh, I'm trying to think of like the perfect Russ. Tyler Mane. Neither of you know who the fuck
know who
he
Tyler
is.
Mane is.
Only because I've told you.
No, I
don't
know
think
because
I
I've
know
seen
who Tyler
movies with him in.
Yeah, Tyler Mane is a wrestler / actor. He played Sabretooth in X-Men with, and he's just like this big guy. He's just fucking huge, like a lot of wrestlers are. And he has beautiful long blonde hair, so yeah. I know Ross isn't blonde, but I don't give a fuck.
He was blonde.
Not in my head canon.
Yeah, he's blonde.
No, he's not in my head.
He is
canon.
actually blonde.
Nah. Not that blonde.
He's very blonde, actually.
How about
No.
when we go? Is it too cliched to go? What's his Aquaman? Who am I thinking of?
Jason Momoa?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Could he go for it?
I reckon he'd do it. Because
I
he's
know
got
the-
the kind of like, his just normal kind of resting face is like resting, like, cheeky bastard face. So it looks like he's like, I pulled the sneaky on you and I bought you a burrito, but I've hidden it. he just looks like a cheeky boy.
Okay, who's the next one?
Okay, Fulgrim. Either we've got a choice again here: Tom Hiddleston, or opening up into people who aren't currently acting, young David Bowie.
I can see the David Bowie thing.
David Bowie, yeah, that's a good one.
Because obviously he did a shitload of acting.
Oh yeah, really
Yeah.
good in The Prestige.
He was really good in Labyrinth.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that transcends everything. But,
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, like, and his penis
his
was
crotch,
very good in the
his
Labyrinth.
crotch transcends everything.
His dick was just fucking there.
It was just there.
It was a different time.
It should have had a thing on the poster, really, shouldn't
David
it?
Bowie's
Credit.
dick as
Casting credit,
itself.
Yeah.
And introducing David Bowie's dick. Fair. Fair.
Okay, last two: Magnus, Alan Rickman.
Yeah. I guess, but the thing is, Alan Rickman feels like he actually knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't see that one personally.
Okay, so I think Horace fucking Magnus should be played by the kid who played Bronson in Round the Twist as an adult.
Okay, what's the last
I
one?
was, I was thinking of when you said Bronson, I went to
The crazy
Hardy.
criminal.
yeah, exactly. And Tom Hardy, who plays him in the film Bronson.
Do you remember when like
I want Tom
Magnus
Hardy-
the Red
I want-
covered himself in like fucking Vaseline and pubic hair and ran through the fucking gates?
Yeah, you should all watch the film Bronson. You see some things, and it's amazing.
What, like, are we talking body parts?
Well, I mean, yeah, that what you just described. You see Tom Hardy do that.
Okay, well, I've already seen his MySpace pictures, and that guy's a slut. Like, massive
great.
props. Like, I do not slut shame. I use slut as a positive term, so, you know.
Okay, the very last one, Korax. Keanu Reeves.
I was going to say Jim Carrey. Now, hear me out, because Jim Carrey's got that kind of, like, miserable, like, resting murder face now. And he's just kind of sad. And I'm not saying Corvus Corax would be an anti-vaxxer. I'm just saying, you know, maybe a flat earther.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but then I am the sort of person where I personally, I don't think a 40k thing that was live action would ever work.
No, it absolutely wouldn't.
This is yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they already
Yeah,
peaked
yeah,
with
no.
Inquisitor.
Yeah, but the thing is, because like in my to me, it would be more about who could voice act that character and do it in like
Okay,
CGI
okay.
or something or animated.
That's
how I
Okay.
would approach that thing.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah.
Well,
so-
then I want Christopher Walken
to
as
play all of
Corvus
them.
Corax. Yeah, he's like fucking Lorgar played by Christopher Walken. I love it. Unfucking believable.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
And if Christopher
fine.
Walken isn't available, we can get Oculus and Period to come in and do the voice
Yeah,
because
Oculus
we know
can
he
do
can
it,
do
yeah.
it.
and then do Erebus's.
Godfrey.
Erebus's voice can be his Ian Paisley voice.
Okay. Not Magnus. Fucking Fulgrim's voice can be voiced by Gilbert Gottfried.
All of them can be voiced by Gilbert Gottfried. He can just do the audiobooks from now on.
Oh, please.
As the Emperor fell, he gazed up at his son
Spider-Man?
and said, "Why?"
It's remarkably similar to our Willem Dafoe impersonation.
Green Goblin, yeah.
That was the last question, wasn't it?
It was the last question, yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed that one. People should send in their ideas for that. I like that.
Which that's so. Oh, I've made myself laugh a lot. I'm sorry.
Let's say goodbye to everybody then.
Right.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody. I hope you have a good time.
Bye.